Grand Rising. Hello. Let's wait for everyone to show up on Instagram. Let's wait for the fam to come in. This is being recorded and it's gonna be posted to YouTube. If you want to check out this recording on YouTube, go to my link tree on my bio and click on my YouTube link there. I have a YouTube link there. Hi, what's up, everybody? Good morning. How's everybody doing? Welcome. We're going to be going over the solar eclipse in Aquarius coming up in a few days. How's your weekend been so far? Happy Sunday. It's the day of the sun. Let me get the chart pulled up here. Let's wait for more people to come in. How's it? How's everyone's Valentine's Day? Happy belated Valentine's Day. Special, I'm sending out love to the singles, to those of us that had to endure singledom yesterday. Sending you all love, okay? All right. Let me get this chart pulled up here. Got a little bit of lag. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I don't know, but since Mercury went into Pisces, it seems like social media, internet, communication stuff has just gotten very foggy and very weird. I've had my internet go in and out over the last few days, and I think it's because Mercury is in Pisces next to the nodes or next to the North Node. Let me get this chart pulled up here. Whoops. Who's feeling this solar eclipse energy already? I do believe the moon's in Aquarius already. Let's take a look where the moon's at today. Yep, the moon's already in Aquarius, right with Pluto. Anybody have really deep, intense dreams last night? Moon's conjunct Pluto right now, and we are already in our eclipse portal. Okay. Eastern 76765 401. All right, so the solar eclipse is going to be on Tuesday, February 17th at 7:01 a.m. Eastern time, which is 4:01 a.m. Pacific time. It's going to be visible from parts of Antarctica and from the south, so I don't think we're going to be able to see it here in the States. This is a very important eclipse. Why is this eclipse? Oh, let me go. Oh, look at all the people. Someone said definitely you're not feeling as motivated as you like to be. Don't worry about it. We are right in the middle of winter, my love. So don't worry about it. Single and got some Valentine's Day love from a crush and my kiddo. Aw, buenos dias, fam. Hello, hello, lovely. Thank you. Better single than in bad company. Amen to that. Amen to that. Okay. So, what's so important about this solar eclipse in Aquarius? Well, it begins a new cycle of eclipses that is going to be along the Aquarius and Leo axis. We're gonna have the nodes switch into Aquarius and Leo later on this year for the second half of this year. So like our August, it may be like I think the eclipse is gonna be July, August, September around that period this year. Um, that's gonna fully transition us into the Aquarius Leo axis when it comes to the eclipses. But This is our opening eclipse for the Aquarius Leo axis. Okay. And it's also a solar eclipse, which is a new moon. And a new moon is about new beginnings. It's about new frontiers. It's about planting seeds. It's about kind of forward movement. It's about kind of, initiating new things, beginning new things, moving in new directions and stuff like this. And this eclipse is on the north node side of the nodes. So the north node in Pisces is right next to the solar eclipse in Aquarius. That's going to be happening at the last degrees of Aquarius. I do believe it's at 28 degrees. Okay. And so this kind of tells us that we're moving forward. The ruler of this eclipse is Saturn, who literally just went into Aries a few days ago. Okay. And also, if you put the eclipse in Aquarius on the rising sign, what do you get in the what do you get in the third house? You get Aries, you get Saturn and Aries in the third house from the eclipse. So the third house, this is a very Gemini house. This has a lot to do with planning. This has a lot to do with travel, short distance travel, our local environment, communication, connection, our thoughts, the mind. These are all third house things. Also, our skills, our hobbies, the arts and crafts, things that we like to do with our hands, things that reading, writing, kind of creation. The third house is a very creative house. But with this Aquarius solar eclipse being ruled by Saturn, who just ingressed into a new sign, the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, who's at, Saturn's at 0 degrees right now. This tells us that the solar eclipse in Aquarius collectively is this initiation into a new timeline, and it's pushing us forward in a way that may feel very uncomfortable, or in a way that pushes us to rebel and challenge the very structures of comfort and security that we've built our lives upon. So this solar eclipse in Aquarius can have you feeling like, I don't want to do this thing anymore. I want to rebel against this. This part of my foundation, this part of my structure, this part of my life, it's outdated. I don't like it anymore. This needs to update. Something needs to change. Something's got to give. We're gonna feel this kind of energy. We're gonna feel compelled to kind of initiate some kind of dramatic change, or to even move, like do something new. And Saturn in Aries ruling over this solar eclipse in Aquarius is kind of telling us, is kind of directing us and telling us, hey, I want you to connect to things that you're passionate about. I want you to connect to things that bring heat into the body, that make you feel excited. So this could also be about physical activity. So I do think this solar eclipse in Aquarius with Saturn in Aries now, we're going to see a lot of people focusing on their body, focusing on their muscles, focusing on their physicality, focusing on building muscle mass, doing Mars things, also kind of doing things that were just that bring excitement into our life, that bring thrill into our life. So doing something, so this could also, this solar eclipse in Aquarius can be like, oh, I've always wanted to go on vacation to this place, but I've been afraid to do it and I haven't wanted to go alone. So maybe it's time for you to go on your first solo trip to that place, right? Because Aries is a sign that is very solitary. It's a sign that's very independent. It wants to do things for itself by itself. It doesn't want to be told what to do. And this is one of the things that Aquarius and Aries have in common. Both of these signs do not like authority. They don't like to be told what to do. They like to be independent. They like to have freedom. They like to have space. They like to have agency in their own life. And this is one of the things that I really see with the connection between Aries and Aquarius. Why am I making that connection? Because the solar eclipse in Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Aries, right? So that's the reason why I'm bringing up these two signs. But what these signs have in common, right, is like this independence and this like, don't fucking tell me what to do. And if there's authority figures, or if there's power structures, or if there's systems that they're having to operate in where they feel powerless, where they feel like they don't have agency, where they feel like they don't have autonomy or freedom, they rebel against those things. This is why Aries and Aquarius don't do good in codependent relationships. They don't do good with people that are very possessive and needy. This is why Aries and Aquarius, they really love partners that are independent, that have their own life, that have their own friends, that have their own goals, that have their own dreams, so that they don't have to carry the burden of someone else, right? These are autonomous signs. And we're going to see a lot of this energy with this solar eclipse in Aquarius. We're going to see a lot of people stepping into this energy. A lot of people that have been living in a codependent way, right? They've been living in a way where, they rely on others, and, they're surrounding themselves with others, like, and it's like kind of this rebellion against friendships even. We may even see this, like people rebelling against their friends, rebelling against the social groups, rebelling against their family, rebelling against the mother and the father, rebelling against their boss, right? Kind of wanting something radically different and wanting to free ourselves and emancipate ourselves from something that is keeping us stuck, that's keeping us also disenfranchised or powerless. This is another thing, right? If we are in connections, in relationships, in, certain situations where you feel like you don't have power in your life. You feel like you don't have a voice. You feel like you don't have agency. You feel like you don't have freedom, right? We want to rebel against these things. We want to free ourselves from these things and emancipate ourselves from these things, okay? What's so interesting as well about this solar eclipse in Aquarius is how we have the activation of Uranus. So this solar eclipse in Aquarius at 28 degrees is squaring Uranus at Taurus, who's at 27, and who's going to be going into Gemini in the next like 4 months. So this solar eclipse in Aquarius is also kind of telling us it's also kind of finishing up whatever work Uranus and Taurus has been doing in our life for the last 7 years, right? So Uranus and Taurus has been about new ways of making money, independent ways of making money, right? It's been about the change when it comes to the financial system and the monetary system, the changes that we've been experiencing as a society when it comes to work and our relationship with work and also food, right? Uranus and Taurus has also been about how technology has modified and changed our relationship with food. Right now, it's like we're all wondering what is bioengineered and is artificial coloring in this and so there's been this whole thing around eating organic and eating pure and kind of going back to simple ingredients and all of this. That's also been part of Uranus and Taurus, right? But the new moon squaring Uranus and Taurus is bringing an extra amount of Uranian energy, is bringing an extra amount of Aquarian energy to this new moon, right? Aquarius, the planet that rules Aquarius modernly, the modern planet that rules Aquarius is Uranus. The traditional planets, when it comes to traditional astrology, the traditional ruler of Aquarius is Saturn, right? And what's so interesting about the sign of Aquarius is being ruled traditionally by Saturn, but modernly ruled by Uranus is, Saturn is about structure and rules and regulation. Saturn is about the social systems that keep everything in place, right? Like gravity. We can say Saturn is linked to gravity, rules over gravity, because gravity keeps everything grounded. It keeps everything in place. It keeps everything organized. And this is what Saturn's work is, right? But what's so interesting is in Aquarius, Saturn ruling the sign of Aquarius and Uranus ruling Aquarius, Saturn and Uranus, they defy and they break down and they question and they challenge and they rebel against the very structures that they built in the sign of Capricorn, right? Saturn ruling Capricorn. Saturn builds the structures in Capricorn and then he dismantles them and liberates himself from them and rebels against them in the sign of Aquarius. So I kind of want you guys to understand this kind of Uranian Saturnian quality that's not just about groundedness and stability and structure and foundation, but it's also about the dismantling of structures, the falling apart of governments, right? The way the tower moments in our life, and how those moments sometimes lead us towards a path of liberation and freedom. Because sometimes the things that we commit to, the things that we engage long term with, right? It could be a marriage, it could be a job, it could be a certain pattern, a certain habit that you've had, a certain way of being. We become a prisoner to those things as well, right? Like all of a sudden we can feel like a slave to a job, right? We can feel imprisoned by a relationship or a marriage, right? We can feel burdened by our karmic responsibilities or obligations to others, to our kids, to our family, and stuff like this, where we lose ourselves, we lose our autonomy, we lose our freedom, we lose our passion, right? And things like this. So what we're going to be seeing with this solar eclipse in Aquarius is we're going to be seeing a lot of people wanting to free themselves from the things that have been feeling like a prison in their life. It could be a habit of behavior, it could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be, a living situation, it could be an environment that they're finding themselves in. And there's this energy of planning and preparing for a big change, or even this solar eclipse in Aquarius kind of initiating a big change, right? I do think the new moon squaring Uranus is going to create instability in our life with the solar eclipse. I think there's going to be things that we found comfortable or secure or safe, but then this solar eclipse shows us, wait a minute, this thing isn't safe. This thing isn't actually stable. This thing isn't actually secure, right? This thing isn't actually reliable or dependable. And we got to pay attention. We got to pay attention, especially if you are a fixed sign. Okay. So the people that are going to be impacted the most by this solar eclipse in Aquarius is going to be the fixed signs: Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus, right? You guys are about to be, everybody coming in, welcome. We're about 15 minutes in. I'm just talking about the solar eclipse in Aquarius. I'm talking about it squaring Uranus right now. And I'm talking about the fixed signs, how this solar eclipse is very important for the fixed signs. So you guys are the ones that are wrapping up Uranus, a 7 year transit of Uranus and Taurus, and kind of Uranus creating that instability or creating dramatic change in your life, right? You're finishing this 7 year cycle, fixed signs, with Uranus and Taurus. And you guys are beginning a new cycle. You're initiating or starting a new cycle with the nodes going into Aquarius and Leo, right? But it's interesting because the way that I think about eclipses, I think about eclipses as kind of like composting, right? The north node side of the eclipse, the north node wants to bring in. So the reason why eclipses happen is because we have lunar events, new moons and full moons, right next to the nodes, the north node and the south node. If a lunar event, a new moon or a full moon, is within 18 degrees of the north node or the south node, like degree wise in the sky, then we get an eclipse. Okay. And the closer that the lunar event is to the nodes, the more direct of a hit that we get with the eclipse. Right. So if there's a lunar event, a new moon or a full moon right on the north node or the south node, that's going to be a full solar eclipse or a full lunar eclipse. Right. It won't be a partial. Um, but the north node, right? What is the north node trying to do? The north node is about destiny. The North Node is about forward movement. It's also about achievement, accomplishment. The North Node is about worldly success. It's about our desires, our earthly, worldly desires. In Vedic astrology, the North Node is connected to the desires that keep us attached and rooted to karma, right? It keep us attached to this earth. Because in Hindu philosophy, when it comes to Vedic astrology, their belief is that it's our desires, right? It's the things that we crave, that we hunger for, that keep us on the karma wheel, that keep us bound and stuck, right? So, but it's not all bad. We love in Western society, we love that. See, it's interesting because in Western astrology, in Western society, the North Node is about the position of the soul's development. And when it comes to evolutionary astrology, the North Node is about the soul's development, and it's about, but it's because we live in a Western society that really, that is focused on worldly, earthly success, right? Not every Eastern society is not about trying to be like trying to accomplish things and be successful and like make tons of money and be like popular and be famous, like and have material wealth and riches. Eastern society is not really based on that. That's not what their philosophy, especially the philosophy of astrology, is based upon, right? But Western astrology is. We love worldly success. We love to achieve. We want to make money. We want to be ambitious, right? So this new moon in Aquarius, solar eclipse in Aquarius, right next to the North Node, is pushing us forward when it comes to earthly, worldly success. But for those of us that are on the spiritual journey, okay, those of us that we're kind of a little bit more detached from the material world, right? This North Node in Aquarius, or this solar eclipse in Aquarius, the North Node in Pisces, my bad, the solar eclipse in Aquarius can be about detachment, can be about releasing things and clearing things out that are part of the karmic wheel, that are part of like your karmic, that are part of like your karmic lessons, right? The things that you struggle with, the things that you suffer with, and stuff like this. But the beautiful thing about the North Node and the beautiful thing about this solar eclipse being on the North Node side is this energy is pushing us forward. It's trying to get us to begin or initiate something new. It's trying to get us to also set some kind of new foundation, right? And things like this. So I do think what we're going to see with a lot of people is people kind of like committing to new things or people making plans or people making decisions where there's like a long-term goal or a long-term dream or a long-term vision or even a long-term relationship that they finally reconcile, that they finally commit to, that they want to kind of see come to life in some type of way. Okay. But what I will say, going back to what I was saying about fixed signs though, okay, fixed signs, this eclipse, this initiating opening eclipse in Aquarius that's going to start the Aquarius Leo eclipses, it can bring some instability into your life. It can bring a little bit of chaos, okay? And it can show you some things that are, like I was saying, not safe or not secure in some type of way. Okay. And and also what you may see with the fixed signs. So if you are someone that has, fixed signs in your life, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, you're surrounded by those people. You may see them all of a sudden become more rebellious, become more autonomous. You may see them, want to do something different or want to make some kind of dramatic change in your life. And if you do have a fixed sign in your life with the solar eclipse in Aquarius, that's like telling you, like, I want to like do something different. I want to, radically move somewhere really far. I want to make a dramatic change with my looks or my style, or I want to, change my career direction and just do something totally different. Don't be surprised. Make sure that you are supporting them through that. Make sure that you are giving them that permission, especially if you're a parent to a fixed sign, if you have a sibling, you have a friend, you have a spouse that's a fixed sign, and they've been feeling very stuck or stagnant, or they've been very attached to something for a long time, but they've been wanting to make a change. You just haven't had the courage or the bravery or the resources or the timing's been off. Well, this solar eclipse in Aquarius can really push them to, all right, it's time to change. It's time to go bigger. It's time to expand. It's time to grow. It's time to like work harder. It's time to really honor your desires. The North Node is really about our desires, the things that we deeply want, right? Not all desires are good for us, but there are desires that are divinely aligned. And sometimes there's a big desire to achieve something great because you want to be of service to the community. You want to help people and stuff like this, right? So I think this is a very empowering, activating eclipse, and that's going to kind of get us going, get many people kind of going. Okay. Um, so let's talk about Aquarius a little bit. Let's talk about Aquarius. What are some themes? What are some things that Aquarius rules over? Well, Aquarius rules over the collective and the community. Aquarius rules over protesting. It rules over egalitarianism. It rules over rebellion and revolution. It rules over defiance to the status quo, right? And Aquarius is the antithesis to the sign of Leo, where the South Node is going to be going later on this year, right? We just had our full moon in Leo 2 weeks ago, but the South Node is going to be going into Leo. The South Node's in Virgo now. It's going to go into Leo as the North Node goes from Pisces into Aquarius. And so Leo is a sign of the celebrity. Leo is the sign of the king and the queen. Leo is also the sign of children. Okay. And there's a lot going on right now when it comes to celebrities, when it comes to authority and people in leadership. And there's a lot of stuff going on with kids. If you're fucking paying attention, if you're paying attention, there's a lot of really weird stuff going on right now when it comes to children, when it comes to kids. I'm like sweating. The reason why I'm sweating is because I just got out the shower. So let me just like wipe myself really quick. Anybody else? Like I like taking really hot showers. So when I come out of the shower, it's like I'm still sweating. Okay. So what we're going to start to see with the eclipses along the Aquarius Leo axis, with the eclipses in Aquarius and the South Node going into Leo with Jupiter. So I'm going to remind you later on this year, around August, July, August, Jupiter is going to go into Leo, and Jupiter is going to be in the same sign as the South Node, okay? Um, in Leo, we're going to see the fall of leaders. We're going to see moral corruption around children come to the surface and be revealed. We're going to see a lot of people, the community, the collective, the people, Aquarius, challenging the leaders and challenging those in power, Leo. And it's going to get very dramatic. It's going to be very intense. It's going to be very gross, I would say, disgusting. It's going to be very like the shock and awe. This new moon in Aquarius squaring Uranus, South Node going into Leo later on this year, the eclipses in Aquarius and Leo, there's going to be a lot of shock and a lot of awe and a lot of confirmation around things that were confusing during Saturn and Pisces. But now that Saturn's in Aries, now that Uranus is moving into Gemini, okay, now that Neptune has moved out of Pisces and gone into Aries, a lot of what we thought was a conspiracy theory is going to get confirmed. Even more so, because we're going to have the physical, we already have the physical proof. We're going to have more of the physical proof, more of the evidence, okay? And we're going to start to see people really, really rebelling against unhealthy, toxic, despotic leaders. Okay. And I want you guys to be mindful, though, of a big theme that we're going to see even more with this initiating opening solar eclipse in Aquarius, but it's going to be a theme for the next 2 years with the Aquarius Leo eclipses. Corruption of leaders, okay? And also the corruption of institutions that we thought were here to protect those that were disenfranchised. So this is going to be about Aquarius, okay? Foster kids, foster systems, um, homes for kids that are disenfranchised in any type of way. So homelessness, they don't have parents, like they don't have whatever. We're gonna see even like nonprofits, philanthropy, stuff like this. We're gonna see these institutions get exposed for corruption, right? Hospitals, prisons, all of these things are going to be like corrupt, or they're going to get revealed to be have deep ties to one another and be corrupt. And it's all going to be coming to the light. And we need to be mindful. We need to pay attention, okay? And we need to stay connected. One of the things that I really like about us moving away from the Pisces energy, especially with Neptune, Saturn leaving Pisces, is truth and clarity is one of the things I like. Pisces is a sign in Neptune. Pisces is a sign, and Neptune is a planet that makes things very confusing and very distracting and very elusive and very unclear. So it's very easy when there's a lot of Pisces energy in the air for others or for the government or for the media to get one over on us, right? To delude us and distract us, right? It's very easy. But once, the energy of Aquarius and Aries and Gemini really show up, right? The air signs and the fire signs, which is like, we have Pluto in Aquarius now, Saturn just went into Aries, Neptune's in Aries, right? Uranus is going into Gemini. We start to get very factual and very practical, and we start to see things very clearly, right? It's the water signs, especially Pisces, that makes things very confusing and foggy, and that makes everything a conspiracy theory where we don't have the proof or we don't have the evidence, right? Or we're not able to see the bigger picture. But now that, like, with this eclipse in Aquarius and moving forward, and now that, Saturn and Neptune are out of Pisces, we're going to start to get a lot of clarity and confirmation. We're going to start to connect the ties. We're going to start to see just how interconnected all this corruption and all this maliciousness and all this deviancy towards children is. It's going to become a bigger thing. It's going to explode. Also, one of the things I just want to mention real briefly, Epstein does have his nodes in Aquarius and Leo. Okay? Um, Donald Trump is a Leo rising. So I'm going to tell you something. With these eclipses in Aquarius and Leo, this whole thing with Epstein and the pedophilia and all this stuff, my loves, it's going to be global. It already is becoming that. It's getting there. Okay. We already have China. We already have the EU. We already have France, right? France and Germany standing up and saying things. Okay, we're gonna it's gonna blow up even bigger. It's gonna become a global thing. Okay, and we're just gonna see how deep the corruption is, and how dark and how hideous and how disgusting it all is. I don't know if any of you guys have been looking. I haven't gone through the Epstein's files myself because I'm not gonna, it's just like but there's people that are like going through all the Epstein files and they're going through everything individually and they're looking at the letters and they're looking at the phone calls and they're looking at the emails. And let me tell you, my loves, with the things that I've seen over the last 5 days is absolutely disgusting. Like the level of ick and darkness and shadow and the level of corrupt, like deviancy. I can't even like Sodom and Gomorrah. I can't even tell you how bad it is. But it is so bad. It is so bad. And everything that we thought was a conspiracy theory, like our deepest fears of just how bad it is exactly what it is, my loves. It's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's like no. It's like it's the truth. It's exactly what it is. And we're going to see a mass exodus and a mass fall and a mass disgracing of leaders and authority figures and CEOs and celebrities because the South Node is going into Leo. And it's time for the karmic reckoning. It's time for Leo energy to experience its karmic reckoning. It already we they were Leo energy was already going through it with Saturn and Aquarius. And they thought that was bad, okay? But just wait. You thought that was bad. Well, guess what? Pluto's now in Aquarius. And guess what? The South Node is going into Leo, okay? So, there's going to be some karmic reckoning when it comes to leaders and authority figures. But this is going to be a big theme, my loves. The fall of leaders. We're going to see CEOs. So this is also going to be a theme with this solar eclipse in Aquarius. Don't be surprised if you have a leader or a boss that suddenly exits or gets laid off, or gets fired. Okay. Don't be surprised if you have someone also just, it may be like a retirement or a stepping down thing, but there's definitely going to be things with leaders and leaders kind of like falling from grace, leaders being exposed or revealed, or leaders also getting disenfranchised, or even the collective and the community rebelling against these leaders. So you can also see this in the workplace, right? You can have all of a sudden you and your team are like, fuck it, we don't want to work for this company anymore. You guys all walk out, you stage a walkout or something like this. So it could also be something that really happens on a micro level. Um, Hold on, let me do something really quick. Mm-mm-mm. I'm gonna put so I'm gonna kind of go into, it's 11:30, so I'm gonna go into the chart, and like kind of talk deets about the chart. This last the full moon in Leo was hard. The last 2 weeks were hard because we had Jupiter in the 12th house and we had Saturn in the 8th house in Pisces. So the last 2 weeks, the full moon in Leo was about grief and about mourning and about loss and about kind of like, and we saw it's so interesting because even in the week ahead, I was telling people, I was like, oh, we're going to see. I was talking about with the full moon in Leo, but I also was talking about in the week ahead. I was saying we're going to see some celebrities pass away, and there's going to be like these karmic endings there's going to be like collective grief and sadness. And sure enough, we had that guy from Dawson's Creek pass away. Um, and it was like a big thing. And I don't know if was there anybody else that passed away, that was kind of like significant. I think there was someone else that passed away. But yeah, but this energy shifts. So the solar eclipse and Aquarius energy is not like that. It's not going to have that energy. Let me go ahead and pull up the chart. Hold on. I've been talking about it without even like having it pulled. Tuesday, February 17th, 7:01 a.m. Eastern. All right. I'm gonna use the chart for New York. Tuesday, February 17th. 2026. What? Man, I just think about like who I was in 20 like 18 and like what reality was then to like now, like 2026. Like here we are, like 8 years later. And like, what the fuck? What? Like, who thought this was what the future held? It's like, it's so crazy just to think about like how much change has happened and how far we've come in such a short amount of time. It seems like everything just like sped up so quickly and they're just so immediate, quick change. It's just so crazy, to think about. All right. So I'm looking at the chart for the eclipse. All I've done is put it on the rising. So what do we have going on with the eclipse? Well, we have a big focus on the second house. We have Saturn in the yeah, we have a big focus on the second house. So if you put the eclipse on the rising, we have North Node, Mercury, Venus, and Pisces in the second house. We have a Venus North Node conjunction. So I'm going to talk about that. We have Saturn in the third. We have Saturn, Neptune conjunct now in the third with Chiron there. We have Uranus in the fourth house from the eclipse on the rising. And then we have a sixth house, Jupiter. So there's going to be a lot of things around health in the body with this eclipse. So Jupiter in the sixth house is telling me there's things around health, habits, routines, pets, our day-to-day jobs as well. They're going to be a theme because it's Jupiter in the sixth house of jobs, though. And we have Saturn who's ingress into a new sign, and there's a second house focus. We have North Node, Venus, Mercury. I do think there's going to be people getting jobs or doing new types of work or initiating or beginning a new habit, a new routine, or even like implementing new ideas in the ways that they can make money. This is a very good eclipse for entrepreneurs. This is a very good eclipse for those that are looking to build community or build momentum, or even they're trying to, get more clients and stuff like this. Highly recommend, with the third house activation, any kind of marketing, advertising, promotional stuff that you want to do. If you're someone that like, you're like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about getting a billboard, or I've been thinking about, getting my social media going. I've been thinking about, writing a book, or starting a podcast. Or if you've been someone that has been thinking about this, you may want to get that going or get that moving, or at least begin and initiate that process or start planning with this solar eclipse in Aquarius. Okay. Because I feel like this is a good solar eclipse to initiate or begin something that you kind of want to build over the next couple years, or that you kind of want to like see stand the test of time. This solar eclipse is ruled by a 0 degree Saturn in Aries. Saturn is at a point of birth, of creation. The zero degrees, right? Zero is the number, and it's the energy, and it's also the degree of like nothingness. It's the degree of potential. Zero is the number of potential, right? It's the egg that hasn't been born yet. It's what will be, right? And so I think this is a beautiful solar eclipse to really plant a seed and to really kind of invest in something that you want to grow or that you want to build over a long period of time, especially if it's something that's going to make you money, or if it's something that's going to allow you to connect and grow with others, or to build community, or something like this. Okay. Very important. And so, yeah. All right. So North Node Venus together in Pisces. Okay. North Node Venus together in Pisces for this eclipse. Venus is the planet of love and romance and beauty. North Node is the planet of destiny, of karma, of fate, right? Or the celestial point. I want to say it's a planet. In Vedic astrology, they call it a planet, but in Western astrology, it's just a celestial point. We don't really consider it a planet in the West. But because the North Node and Venus are together, this tells us that there's karmically aligned partnerships or relationships that could come in with this eclipse for people, right? Or even the Venus North Node connection can bring you confirmation and clarity around relationships and partnerships that you're in, but also there can be a little bit of restlessness, or there can be a little bit of discomfort, okay? Or there could also be a revealing of trauma, or there can be, a revealing of things that are toxic, or there can also be this energy of kind of like betrayal, deception. The only reason being why is because Venus is at a Scorpio degree. Venus is at 8 degrees, which is Scorpio. So, there could be some scorpionic energy associated with this, with partnerships and love stuff that's happening right now. Because of Venus at 8 being next to the North Node, who's at 9, which is a Sagittarian degree. So 9 is I love the 9 degrees. Honestly, I think the ninth degrees is a good one. It brings a lot of growth and opportunity, expansion. The ninth degree is also about hope, and it's about ambition, and it is kind of like an old soul degree. It's an old soul energy, but it has a lot to do with people that are adventurers, and that they are optimistic, and they want to explore, and they want to kind of go out in the world. They want to achieve things and also participate in foreign culture, or experience foreign cultures and stuff. That's the ninth degree. And we have the North Node and Venus there. So this could be this combination of North Node Venus, at 8 and 9. This can also be about travel plans, Saturn in the third house, on that axis of like travel and stuff. This Aquarius this solar eclipse in Aquarius could compel you, or can motivate you to be like, oh, I want to travel here. I want to like, set these plans to go on vacation this summer, end of the year, something like this. So if you are feeling that, if you feel called to do that, definitely do that, okay? But when it comes to like love and partnership and stuff like this, I think the North Node in Venus is going to be very important for water signs, because they're getting the trine, or they're getting a conjunction from North Node Venus. So we have so Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces, and also I think for Earth signs. So Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. You can see some movement, you can see some activation of things when it comes to partnerships and relationships and stuff. There is a really nice aspect in the sky for this solar eclipse that does indicate deep emotional conversation and connection, and also kind of like forgiveness or closure, or us finding some kind of emotional reconciliation with things or emotional understanding with things, and us having very deep emotional conversations and people apologizing stuff. That's going to be in the air at the solar eclipse or with the solar eclipse on Aquarius for the next 2 weeks because Mercury in Pisces is actually trining Jupiter in Cancer. So we have a Mercury Jupiter trine. This is a wonderful trine for initiation of jobs or beginning new habits and routines. I just really feel this strongly. I do think there's people making money in new ways or getting into service work or just getting new jobs. I think it's going to be a big theme. I think there's going to be people getting new work and doing work that kind of challenges what they've done before, you know? So if you're feeling called to do work or to be of service to people in a way that is strange and different and not, you know, and it's like, but it's like your calling or it's your passion or whatever, make sure you do that, okay? Or make sure you get to setting that foundation and you like really believe and trust in yourself because this Jupiter in Cancer is like really, really supportive. Um, this Mercury Jupiter trine is really supporting, you know, optimistic outcomes when it comes to like jobs and opportunities, especially because Jupiter's in the sixth house, right? So we have this second house, sixth house trine with Mercury and Jupiter. We have Venus, North Node, Mercury in the second house from the solar eclipse, and we have Jupiter in the sixth house. So this kind of activation of the second and the sixth, these are the houses of work and money. You know, these are the houses of our routines and our habits, of our financial foundation, of the things that we find safe, our relationships in the material world, right? Like these are the houses. And so I do think there can be some initiation or beginnings around those these houses, right? For us collectively. So, you know, if you are someone that is thinking about, you know, getting a new job or you want to make a big pivot or make a big change, make sure you do that, all right? One of the things I do, yeah. So I think I mentioned it, but I kind of want to go deeper with this. With Mars in Aquarius, there's like a 9-degree orb from the solar eclipse to Mars, who's at 19. Um, but with Mars in the rising sign and with Jupiter in the sixth house, um, we need to be mindful of our health with this eclipse, especially digestive health, stomach health, hormonal health, okay? And also your back, your cardiovascular system, and your endocrine system, your system, okay? When it comes to health in the body, these are areas of the body that can experience attack or inflammation. I'm definitely seeing back injuries with this solar eclipse in Aquarius because of Mars and Aquarius and Leo. Okay, Leo rules the back and Aquarius rules the cardiovascular system and the ankles, okay? And like your shins and your ankles. And we have a new moon squaring Uranus, and we have Mars in Aquarius. So what is this giving me? Accidental back injuries, people tripping and falling and hurting their ankles or breaking an ankle, okay? Or, you know, messing up their shins or hurting their shins and things like this. So if you are someone that is very active, you go to the gym, you work out, whatever, um, don't don't put too much pressure on your back, especially over the next 4 days as we move into the eclipse and the eclipse hits directly. You know, be mindful of your back, especially your upper back, okay, and your like neck and shoulders and stuff like this for this eclipse. I don't want y'all to have any accidental injuries. I don't want you tripping and falling and stuff like this. If you know you're a clumsy person and you know you have a child and they have toys all over the floor all the time and stuff, and you be tripping and falling over them, make sure on the day of the eclipse, around the eclipse, that you have everything in a box. Okay, you have the floor nice and clean and everything, because you don't want to end up tripping and falling. Especially if this eclipse, if you have anything around like 28 degrees of a fixed sign, if this eclipse is squaring you, or if Uranus is hitting you directly, you have anything around 28 degrees, 27 degrees of Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, or Taurus, be mindful. Okay, I don't want you to hurt yourself. Or if you're a fixed rising sign, I don't want you to hurt yourself. Okay, with this eclipse, only because of the Mars in the rising, Jupiter in the sixth house, and the solar eclipse, the sun and the moon squaring Uranus. These three things, those three things right there, the combination of those three things can bring accidents and injury and inflammation and illness and sickness. And also what you're eating, what you eat. We have North Node and Mercury in the second house for the solar eclipse. Okay, so um, okay, 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 um. Excessive alcohol or drinking substances that can have a possibility to be toxic or poisonous. This could also be a drug thing, like lace drugs or drugs that are not pure. Careful, careful. No over drinking during this eclipse. Okay. No taking random strange substances that you don't know where they're sourced from or where they come from. Okay. And be careful with like chemicals and toxins, ingesting chemicals or toxins. So, um, also like spoiled food and stuff. Like, just be careful with that, okay? I'm seeing disturbed stomachs. I'm seeing stomach illness, and I'm also seeing what is this? Stomach flu for people because of like they eat something that's toxic or that's poisonous or they eat something that's old. Okay, be careful. Okay, with what you're eating during this eclipse. We're gonna see some upset stomachs. This is because Cancer is in the sixth house with Jupiter. Okay, and mostly if you do have an upset stomach for this eclipse, or if you end up getting sick or something, it's because you're not getting enough rest. It's because you ate something that you shouldn't have eaten. It's because you've been eating too much dairy or too much oily foods or too much fatty foods, or it's because you overate. Okay, or because you overate. North Node Venus in the second house. Also, sugars and sweets. Okay, be mindful of that. Okay, no overindulgence on sugars and sweets. It will make you sick. Okay, you will probably get sick and stuff for the eclipse, and you don't want to do that. So, green fresh juices for the eclipse. Healthy eating. I would even say for those of you that have the discipline for it, fasting. Fasting for the eclipse. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. If you can go, even if it's like a 12-hour fast, right? For like a evening to morning fast. I would highly recommend that for this eclipse, okay? Highly recommend doing a fast and letting the energy just kind of like purge and clear things out, right? I would love that for you. But yeah, so one of the things I do want you to, so for those of you that, you work with your chart, you're studying astrology, you're learning whatever. I want you to take a look at your Aquarius and your Leo houses. I want you to take a look at what that access, because you're going to start to see a lot of initiation and new beginnings around those houses. You're going to start to see things pivot and change radically or dramatically around these houses. You may see some filtering out of things. So things coming in and things moving out at the same time. And that's what the eclipses do. The north node brings things in, pulls things in, and then the south node releases things and clears things out. So we see like a filtering and a movement of our timeline when we enter the eclipse portal, right? And that's what the eclipses are. The eclipses are a portal. We jump into a portal, and we jump into we jump into like a time warp, and where things suddenly dramatically can shift and change at the drop of a dime, unexpectedly, right? And we're gonna have more of that energy. We're gonna have more of that energy because of Uranus, right? New moon squaring Uranus, more of this kind of dramatic, chaotic, frantic, unstable energy, right? And we may see, the monetary system or financial systems, I don't want to say collapse, but there may be some really interesting, dramatic things that happen, right? Yeah. Someone said Aquarius rising, seventh house access. So you have Leo in the seventh, focusing more on myself and my versus relationships. Yes, 11th and the fifth. That's goals, dreams, friends, children, love, romance. That's the 11th and the fifth house, right? So yeah, but what you will start to see with the Aquarius and Leo axis is these houses in your chart are about to come alive. They're about to get activated, right? We have the nodes going to the Aquarius and Leo axis later on this year. We have Jupiter going into Leo later on this year, right? Pluto just went into Aquarius last year, but Pluto's starting his, he's going to be doing his like 19-20 year transit through Aquarius. So this axis of Aquarius and Leo is about to be very, very active. And also, another download I just got, this solar eclipse in Aquarius can show us the future. It can show us what's about to shift or change or pivot in our life. Okay? That's like, ooh, a really strong download that I'm getting. Yeah. So what I'm getting is like this solar eclipse in Aquarius reveals us or shows us or even puts us on a path or begins us on a path or brings something into our life that's going to be a part of our future or that's going to kind of be where we're going. Or it's going to be like, directing us to where we're going and stuff, right? So, yeah, so pay attention to what the solar eclipse is trying to show you. Okay. The eclipse is on the 17th, on Tuesday. Anybody know someone that says Tuesday like that? Tuesday? It's Tuesday. I think I had a client from New York when I worked in banking that used to say Tuesday. I don't know. I think maybe that was just like, yeah, maybe that was the way his mouth was or something. Tuesday. It's like a CH instead of a T. But yeah, it's on Tuesday. Um, 4 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Eastern. We're not gonna be able to see it over here. You're gonna be able to see it if you are in South America or Antarctica. Yeah. 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 So, okay. Let me go back to the chart here. Okay. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, Uranus in the fourth. Okay. Uranus in the fourth for the eclipse. This eclipse is squaring a fourth house Uranus. Okay. So fourth house is the house of home and family and foundation. It's also someone said, is that a transatlantic accent? I don't know what it is, but it's funny. um, the fourth house is the house of home and family and security and safety and our living situation and the things that we're very attached to, the things that we care a lot emotionally about, the things that we're emotionally invested in. And with Uranus down there, we're seeing instability with this eclipse around fourth house things. So, our living situation could suddenly become unstable. Or we can also start to experience some kind of crisis or drama in the home or in the family environment, right? Or someone can dramatically leave, or someone can dramatically move in, okay? Stuff like this. So, there's going to be things around the fourth house. Also, this eclipse can show you that you don't want to live where you're living anymore and that you want to make or can also initiate or begin a process of change when it comes to our living situation. So this eclipse can be like, oh yeah, I decide that I'm moving within 6 months. I decide that I'm moving within 9 months. Oh, me and my partner, we're going to be getting a place together. We're going to be moving in together. So we want to start saving. We want to go ahead and apply for a loan. We want to get our credit together, stuff like this. There could be conversations or this kind of stuff could happen with this solar eclipse where there's some kind of change that we want to make around our home or our living situation. But it can also come and find us. So it can also kind of be something that's very erratic or dramatic or something that is, possibly chaotic. It is a new moon square Uranus. It's a new moon Aquarius square Uranus, right? So yeah, so I am kind of feeling like this new moon is going to kind of push some of us to like want to move or relocate, or it's going to kind of begin this process, or it's going to open up this door, or it's even going to like we're going to feel like, yeah, I want to like make something want to change something around my fourth house. We also just may see people rebelling against tradition with this solar eclipse squaring the new moon or squaring Uranus on the fourth. This could also be about like, you know what? The way my family is, the way things have been, the traditional values that I was raised with, the traditional expectations, whatever. We can feel like we want to rebel or break away from those things, or we can even want to emancipate ourselves from like family obligations and stuff. So that could be like a thing. That could be like a thing. That could be like a thing. Yeah, that could be a thing. Ma 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 ma. Yeah, so yeah, that's gonna be a thing. That's gonna be a thing. Uranus in the fourth, Jupiter in the sixth, North Node, Venus, Mercury in the second. We have Sun, Mars, Pluto, Moon in the first. So we have the South Node going through the eighth house as well. I just want to tell y'all like it's so funny actually because my parents just bought a new car. I wonder if they pulled the loan out for that. I should ask them. But the South Node is going through the eighth house, and the North Node is going through the second, and we have Mercury and Venus in the second. So there's gonna be a lot of things around resources and money, like getting tax returns together or tax documents together or wanting to clean up our finances or figure out our financial situation or even possibly like pulling out a loan for like a goal or a dream or a bigger vision. Like, you want to buy a house, you got to get approved for a mortgage, get a car, get a loan, you want to go to school, you want to need financial aid, something like this. These things can kind of like be a theme as well because of the activation of the second and eighth house axis. I am kind of getting a download around people receiving income from the government or people receiving income from like a legal thing. So that could be a thing for some people. It really depends on your rising and what's going on with you. You know what I mean? If you're someone that's in court, you're going through a legal matter right now, you're waiting for an insurance company to pay you out or something like this, highly recommend you book a reading with me because I can give you more insight into the timing around that. But I do think that we're going to see some movement or some progress around these things with this eclipse in Aquarius. Okay, just want to let y'all know that. Kind of getting that. You have a recertification for HRA and you're getting taxes this year. I work for the government and someone's saying, well, I can't see what this is. She said, I'm breaking myself away from the idea that marriage and kids is the ultimate end goal. Oh, you work for the government, got a raise? Oh, I love that for you. That's awesome. That's congratulations. Much deserved. Raises for everybody. Everybody should be making more money. Um, Yeah, I really do think that like Saturn and Aries, especially Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, this is one of the things I've been talking about. I do think we're gonna see more of a rejection of the traditional family unit and like also like relationships. I think Saturn and Aries, the combination of Pluto and Aquarius, Saturn, Aries, and Uranus and Gemini is going to have women feeling way more autonomous. And it's going to have people realizing that their sense of like joy or their sense of like happiness and fulfillment, it's not going to come from someone else. Let me explain. It's like being like getting married, like having a partner, like your happiness and your joy and your contentment, it's like people are going to realize like it's not that's going to bring me this sense of like fulfillment and this sense of like accomplishment and this sense of like completion and this sense of like joy. It's not going to come from someone else. This is something that you have to cultivate within yourself. This is something that you got to foster and grow from within, right? This is why we have so many unhappy people in relationships, and we have so many unhappy people blaming their partner for their lack of happiness or joy. And it's because that's projection. It's because, like it has nothing to do with them. They're looking for an excuse. It's like your partner is not responsible for your joy, your happiness. It's not your partner's responsibility to have you have a deep sense of accomplishment and fulfillment and purpose in your life. It's not. That's something that you got to grow for yourself. Okay. And honestly, that's a cop out. I think thinking that a relationship is going to be like the end all be all and it's going to be the ultimate thing that fulfills you, putting that burden on someone else is not fair. That's not fair. It's it's not right. And it's impossible. Someone else, it's not someone else is literally not able to. They're not able to bring you that deep sense of like fulfillment and accomplishment and purpose and passion and connect. It's not anyone else's job to give you that other than yours. So I really do think with Saturn and Aries, there's we're going to continue to see more people choosing the single life, more people choosing themselves and wanting to individuate and wanting to be different and wanting to challenge the status quo. It's the come on, Aquarius and Aries. Who has Aquarius and Aries in their chart? Right? Who knows Aquarius Aries people? Right? These are people that are very independent. And sometimes they're independent to a fault. Okay? Right? And these are signs that do not like authority. They don't like to be told what to do. Right? They don't like codependency. They don't like, attachment. They don't like tradition. Aries and Aquarius are signs that do not like tradition. They like what's new. They like tomorrow. What's coming tomorrow? What's the future hold? These are signs that look forward. They don't look back. They're they're leaning forward. It's so funny. I was talking about this with Aries placements and how Aries people, they literally walk sometimes with a head tilt. They walk forward leaning because they're literally they're the ram, head first, right? They literally walk with their head first because get out of my way. I got shit to do. I got to move forward. I got passions to fulfill. I got the goals to achieve, right? Like this energy. And I really do think that like this should be the focus for us collectively, right? Like we should be collectively focused on who we are as a person, as an individual outside of our community, outside of our relationships, outside of the roles that we play for others, outside of our family unit, right? Someone said big forehead looking at. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Aries always got Aries, it's so funny. Aries Aries, yeah. Well, actually, you'll see with Gemini too. Gemini and Aries, the big forehead, the big head. You'll see this. You'll see yeah. I have Jupiter in Aries and I got a big forehead too. So it makes a lot of sense. Ugh. Someone asked the question. I have an Aries stellium in the ninth. I'm looking forward to this, but with Saturn, would that mean I'll have issues with traveling? Possibly, yeah. You may have a canceled travel plan, or traveling, you may make plans to travel and all of a sudden it falls through. It could also be traveling for someone's funeral. Saturn is going through the ninth. Yeah, Saturn going through the ninth could be about the passing of a grandparent. So the passing of like an aunt or an uncle or the passing of a cousin. So a lot of times, Saturn in the ninth will be about traveling a far distance to go to someone's funeral. Saturn in the ninth can also be about graduation and going back to school and getting your degree, getting your master's, getting your bachelor's, I don't know. It could be like that as well. It could also be about a marriage or a ceremony. It really depends. It's funny because a lot of people that do astrology, they think in very singular ways. Like Saturn in the ninth is going to be this one thing. No, no, no. You can't think like that when you're doing astrology. It's going to be a possibility of multiple things. Because why? We have to assign the totality of our lived experience to these 12 houses and these 12 signs in the chart, right? So Saturn in the ninth can be about you graduating, but also your grandparent passing away, right? It could be both of those things. right? It could also be about a sibling getting married or a sibling having a firstborn child and stuff like this. Could be a lot of things, especially if you have a stellium in Aries, right? Because Saturn's going to be hitting all of your planets in Aries. So, what is Saturn on the moon? If you have a moon in Aries, what is Saturn Venus? If you have Venus in Aries, what is Saturn Sun? If you have, Sun in Aries, all those things are going to be something very particular and very different, right? Every planet is going to respond to a Saturn transit differently, and you're going to experience something differently with that. Yeah. Saturn returned in my third, just started and already had an argument with my sister. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, see? Or, yeah, because once Saturn is transiting your third, what do you have to learn? Boundaries with your siblings, expectations with your siblings. Your sibling can also go through something that's difficult or hard. I'm thinking about Saturn and Aries opposite Libra. So you can have a sibling, right? That's dealing with a difficult karmic relationship or a toxic relationship, and you're not happy with it. So you're trying to, help them and you're trying to give them guidance and advice, and they're stuck on that toxic relationship, and you're all karmically involved and taking on responsibility where you shouldn't be, when your work is to have boundaries and say no and let her deal with that herself because that's her choice and it's her life, right? And you can see the pattern, you can see the toxicity, but if that's what she wants and that's what she's choosing, you got to let her do that. That's what it is. And that can be what Saturn in the third is about. Period. That can be your karmic lesson. That could be your Saturnian test, and stuff like this. I think it's also really important that we know who the people are connected to the houses, you know? Look what she said. Look at this. Look what Curly Rose just said. After what I just said, look what she wrote. Oh my God, I just told her she has no boundaries. She's actually going through a karmic relationship and she lost custody of her son and still not learning her lesson. Everything that I just said before you even before you even said anything, I already knew because that's what Saturn in the third is going to be about for you, you know? But you know what? Don't send her my way. Don't send her my way. I don't want to do reading for her because she's not going to listen anyway. So, if before you send someone my way, if you guys want to refer somebody my way, before you send anyone my way, first and foremost, ask if they're going to be receptive to the wisdom and the guidance and if they're ready for it. Okay. And if they even are deserve it, if they're even worthy of it. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, not everyone is worthy of a reading with me. It's one of the things I'm realizing. Not everyone is worthy. No, I'm just kidding. Spirit is like, no, Louis, that's not the truth. Louis, you know that you're here to serve everybody, and you're not here to be biased or be prejudiced. You're here to serve the people, both high and low. Both high and low, low, low. Okay. So is it access denied? Like, it's funny because like I love that you want receptive. Yeah, I do. Like, I can't. I don't want to be dealing with the rigmarole, y'all. Like, I've. I know that I have. I know that. Okay, so being a spiritual guy and being very connected to spirit, I know that whoever is sent my way is sent my way for a reason. Like I know that even when I have a difficult reading or if I'm dealing with a client that where it's like rough and it's hard and they're not being receptive or they don't even believe or whatever, I know that it's divinely aligned and I know that that person is meant to come into contact with me. So in these moments, you know what I do? I set my ego aside and I set my pride aside and I set everything, my bias and my prejudice and my sentiments, I set those all aside and I ask God in spirit to give me the words and the guidance and give me the instruction to be able to give this person that's with me in this moment whatever it is that they need, you know? Because in those moments when we are being challenged, right? When we are being questioned, when we are being tested with our work or with whatever, we love to take it personal, right? I can be like, oh, you know what I mean? This person doesn't respect me, and this person doesn't believe in me, and this person's just trying to test me, and this person's not receptive to anything, and this person is so close-minded, and this person is so whatever, whatever. I could do that, but that's all ego. That's all ego, you know? Because my spirit, my soul knows, and my guides know, like, wait a minute, no, this is meant to happen. right? This is someone that's meant to come into your field. There's a lesson here for you, maybe, Louis. So before you get all wrapped up and all absorbed in it, and before you get all, whatever, whatever, take a step back and just perceive and just feel into it and see what spirit is trying to show you in this moment, and see what spirit is trying to show this person through you. Because I'm just the vessel. I'm just the oracle. I'm just the messenger, right? Like that's all I am. So, and when people come my way, it's because there's a message they need to hear. And sometimes that message is not what they want to hear. Yeah, I love that too, I love it. I love it when I gotta tell someone something that they don't want to hear, but that they know, that they've been deeply afraid of, that they haven't confronted in their life, and it's just been staring them in the face. And then Spirit sends them my way because I'm the one that's gonna tell them, baby, look at that right there. Look at this truth. You gotta take a look at this. Stop running, stop hiding, stop lying to yourself, stop avoiding it. It's right there. Look at the elephant in the room. And I'm going to be like, here, look at the elephant. Look at this. Look at this. Let me show you. Do you do Saturn return readings or go over it in yours? Well, yeah. If I do a reading for you and you're going through your Saturn return, of course I'm going to notice it and I'm going to talk about it. I talk to you about whatever I see, you know? So I will tell you about when I do readings for people. If you've never gotten a reading done by me, I will tell you what's going on. I'll tell you what's happening with your chart, what's activated right now. Oh, you're going through a nodal return. Oh, you're going through a Uranus opposition. Oh, you're going through a Jupiter square. Or you're going through a Venus return. I will tell you. I can see it. I do this every day. Come on now. Come on now. You don't need to tell me you're going through a Saturn return. I'll look at the chart and be able to see it within the first 3 seconds. Right? And of course, I'm going to talk about it because it's important. I know how important this Saturn return is because I'm an astrologer, and that's my job. So I'm surprised you haven't booked a reading with me, Curly Rose, since you've been a follower of mine for a long time. Kind of surprised I haven't done a reading for you yet, actually. Actually. Whenever you're ready, people find me when they're ready. Nothing to be afraid of. I make astrology and this whole thing, but like reading, spirituality, whatever. I make it really fun, really easy, really accessible, really light. Because that's how it should be, right? This work no matter what, if it's Reiki, if it's tarot, if it's astrology, right? It's meant to bring truth and clarity and openness. It's not meant to bring shadows and confusion. It's not meant to be happening in hiding and stuff. No, no, no. We're evolving this work, right? Like the occult work has had to hide in the shadows. Astrology, tarot, mysticism, magic. This stuff has had to hide in the shadows because why? It's a threat to those in power. It's a threat to the church, right? It's a threat to those that want to control our faith, control our belief systems, to control our relationship with God, right? But these things, tarot, astrology, energy healing, esotericism, the spiritual path, whatever, they connect us directly to God and spirit to where we don't need the church. We don't need a pastor or a priest, right? We don't need them to tell us this is who God is. This is how you believe in God. This is what God believing in God looks like. We don't need that, right? We don't need that anymore. So we're doing it ourselves. And so there's a beautiful, empowering thing that comes with, you know, following the spiritual path, developing your intuition, connecting to God on your own, figuring out what your relationship with God looks like, right? Uncovering your faith. Like there's a beautiful, empowering, enlightening thing that comes with it. And I love this work because this work, when it's done properly, it brings openness and truth and clarity, right? We can see things so clearly. And that's how you know when like a spiritual worker is like really aligned or an astrologer is really aligned and stuff, is because whenever you connect with them, you feel more clear. You feel more positive. You feel more sure. You feel more secure. You feel more excited. You feel more passion. They give you this boost. They give you this lift. They give you something to look forward to. That's what this work should do. It should be healing. It should clear things out. It should help you release things. It should help confirm things, right? It shouldn't be bringing confusion. It shouldn't be making you feel insecure. It shouldn't be making you feel afraid and scared. If there's work, like spiritual workers that make you feel that way, stay away from them. They're not aligned with you. They're not in proper spiritual alignment. That's why it's not enough to just study astrology. It's not enough to just study tarot. It's not enough to become a psychic or become no, you got to work on your soul and your spirit. You got to become faithful. You got to develop a relationship with the other side, right? The knowledge and the wisdom is one thing, but the relationship and the faith and the moral clarity and the moral fortitude and like, that kind of like virtue, the inner virtue of self, those are all things that got to be cultivated. And those are all things that we got to uncover and unlock within ourselves. You know, it's not some, and you're gonna go to church and you're gonna see a lot of corrupt, very dark people. You're gonna see a lot of people that are not really in alignment. They want to be, but they're not. But they're not. It's because there's a certain level of inner work that we got to do within our own spirit, right? To really be in alignment with the work, especially if you are someone that wants to transition into being a spiritual worker, or you want to, be an intuitive, you want to be a psychic, you want to do whatever, that kind of work, you want to work with people. You got to be able and willing to go deep with people. And you got to be so open and clear within your heart, within your spirit, where there's no hiding, there's no shame. You got to be very open. It's the openness that really empowers the intuition. You know what I mean? When we are very open, very open. And that's one of the things with me. I'm just like I just leave my heart open to everything, and we should. We really should. It's a beautiful thing when we live like that. Sorry, I'm over here preaching. It's Sunday. I can't help it. Uh, what? I swear. Sunday comes around and I'm just like, oh, let me get on the pedestal and start preaching. Here we go. Let's get back to the astrology. My bad, guys. Sorry about that. When I start doing that, you guys gotta let me know. You gotta be like, Louis, catch yourself. Slow down. Catch yourself, okay? Because like all of a sudden I'm bringing y'all to church and we're supposed to be talking about the eclipse. Someone said I love when the preacher comes out. Yeah. I don't even know how I got to talking about this. On Sundays, I preach. Yeah, if it's a Sunday, I start preaching. It's the day of the Lord. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, all right. Okay, it's 12:19. I'm gonna be here for another like 30, 40 minutes. I'm gonna go over um the eclipse for the signs based off of their humor. So if they're a rising, if you are a mutable, fixed, or a cardinal sign, okay? And I really want you to primarily use your sun sign and your rising sign for this, okay? So I'm gonna be like fixed risings, cardinal rising signs, mutable rising signs. And if you don't know what fixed, cardinal, mutable rising sign is, let me tell you really quickly, okay? The mutable signs are Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sag. Okay? The ones ruled by Jupiter and Mercury. Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius are the mutable signs. The fixed signs are Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo. Okay? So the signs ruled by the sun, moon, Saturn, and Mars. Scorpio Mars. Yeah, sun, moon. Wait, no, 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 not the moon. No, no, no. Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus. Venus, Mars, Saturn, Sun. Okay? Leo's ruled by the sun. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Taurus is ruled by Venus. I don't know what I was saying. Okay. But yeah, fixed signs. Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo. Those are the fixed signs. And the cardinal signs are Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, Libra. So Aries and Libra ruled by Mars and Venus. Capricorn and Cancer ruled by the Moon and ruled by Saturn. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about it from that perspective. All right. So let me get back here. Hold on. Where did it go? Where did my chart go? It disappeared on me. Let me go back. What happened to my chart? Did I close it out on accident? I must have closed it out on accident. Oh goodness. Hold on. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Yeah, I closed it on accident. February 17th. 2026, 4 a.m. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off with fixed signs because you guys are the star of the show for this solar eclipse. So Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, you guys are going to be the ones that are most impacted by this eclipse. Okay. So for Aquarius and Leo, sun rising. This is going to be about relationships for you guys. This is going to be about your first house, seventh house access. So your marriage, your partnership, your business partnership, legal issues, legal problems, the court order, the restraining order you need to put on that person. Um, Also, the first house, yourself, your personality, your identity, your body, your health, your wellness, your physical form, the way you present yourself, okay, your character, things like this. The first house, seventh house axis is going to be highly active with this eclipse for Aquarius and Leo. But we also got to keep in mind we have the nodes going along the second house, eighth house axis, where we do have Venus and Mercury either in the eighth or in the seventh, because Aquarius and Leo in the seventh house, eighth house act, or in the sixth, eighth house, second house axis, you guys have Pisces and Virgo. Okay, so Aquarius has Pisces in the second house, Virgo in the eighth. Leo has Virgo in the second house and Pisces in the eighth. Okay. So this kind of activation of the first in the seventh house and the second and eighth house with this eclipse, there's going to be things around money and resources, financial security, debts, things that people owe you, maybe tests around betrayals, maybe like tests around emotions, around vulnerability, betrayals, mistrust, deception, feeling taken emotionally advantage of, processing of things of the past, letting shit go from the past, resentment coming back, stuff like this. And it's going to be around intimate one-on-one relationships. So we may see some kind of dramatic shift or change around your intimate one-on-one relationships. This can be about the beginning or the beginning or initiation of a relationship for Leo, Aquarius, rising or suns. And this can also be about the rupturing or the liberation of yourself from a relationship. Okay. Also, because of the Uranus square, and Uranus is either in your fourth house or your 10th house, there can also be some things around how the relationship is creating conflict with like work and career expectations, or creating conflict with like home or family expectations or stability. So it could also be about certain relationships in your life that are creating a lot of instability or insecurity, or they're creating a lack of safety, or they're creating like chaos when it comes to like your foundations. It can be this, so it can reveal certain people or certain connections that you have this eclipse, or it can like even challenge them, or can try to get you to move forward in these relationships some type of way, to where it's like these people are bringing an element of chaos or instability into your life, Leo rising or Aquarius rising, okay, or Leo Aquarius suns, where it's like these connections, these people, you don't feel safe with them, they don't really value, appreciate you, or they bring some kind of chaos into your life, or they bring a lack of safety. Okay. So I just want you guys to think about that. So your health, your body, what's going on with your relationship life, stuff like this. There can be someone new that comes in. You can meet someone new. You can start dating someone new, something like this. This could also be about new sources of income or making money, since the second house is active. This can also be about settling of debts, needing to have to pay off certain debts and stuff. So yeah, you guys are having this along the first house, seventh house axis, this eclipse, but also the second house, eighth house is active because of the North Node Venus and Mercury, either in the second or the eighth, and then also Uranus in either the fourth or the 10th house, depending on if you are a Leo or Aquarius rising, or if you don't know if you're rising, you just use your sun sign. Okay, so that's for you guys. So for Taurus and Scorpio rising, the song that just this is a song that comes to me a lot though. Oh, I just ended up on Scorpio Rising. Um, Baby, come back. You can blame it all on Hall& Oates. I was wrong, and I just can't live without. Dun, dun, dun. Baby, come back. So I don't know. Maybe Scorpio. Maybe the reason why this song came up for me when I like mentioned Scorpio and Taurus rising, because maybe there's some like relational stuff that you still gotta like move through or work through with this eclipse, Scorpio, Taurus rising, or sun. There can be, so what am I looking at? I'm looking at Scorpio in the rising. I'm looking at the solar eclipse for Scorpio happening in their fourth house of like home and family and also emotional investment and matter things that pertain to the heart. That's the fourth house. And I'm also looking at the moon. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the North Node, Venus, and Mercury in the fifth house of love and romance and children for Scorpio rising. So we have the South Node in the 11th. We have this Pisces stellium in the fifth. We have this solar eclipse in the fourth. And we have this Uranus in the seventh house of partnership and relationship. So this is giving me Taurus and Scorpio rising, big shifts and changes when it comes to lovers and friends. And us wanting to date someone new or us realizing something about someone that we're dating, but this can also be really good. I'm looking at this Jupiter trine, I'm looking at Jupiter in the ninth or Jupiter in the third, and I don't know. To me, this could also be about like you meet someone or you're connecting with someone or you've been in a relationship with someone and you want to go deeper with them. You want to go deeper. You want to merge. You want to start talking about trust. You want to start talking about the future. You want to start planning for something new. Okay. I'm really feeling that for you guys. Um, because we have, so this is for Scorpio, Taurus, rising or suns. Because you guys are having this new moon in either the fourth house, if you're a Scorpio rising, or a Taurus, if you're having it in the 10th house, this is about a shift in the wind when it comes to your career direction and your home and your family life. So what we may see with this eclipse is that Taurus and Scorpio rising or suns, they want to make a big change when it comes to their career and their work, or they want to like move in a new direction with that stuff, or they want to make a big change with their home and their living situation. And this could also be because of the influence of a relationship. So there's something about a connection, a relationship, or a friendship that's also influencing these changes, or that can be a part of these changes. So this can be like, oh yeah, I'm moving in with my partner, or I'm buying a house with my partner, or we want to make a change with like I want to make a change with my career because I want more time to raise a kid or something, right? Or I'm ready to be a mom, and so I want to have more time at home and stuff, things like this. So we may see some big kind of like foundational changes with Scorpio and Taurus rising and suns, and where they're kind of like planning for a future. This is also so for Scorpio rising, if you are trying to like make a baby or become a mother or get pregnant, Scorpio sun, Scorpio rising. I usually don't recommend that during eclipses because eclipses can be very volatile when it comes to pregnancy and procreation. Eclipses are not good for life. They're not good for life. Okay. Why are the eclipses not good for life and for creation of life? And also, this is why a lot of miscarriages happen around eclipses. It's because the luminaries, the life bringers, the sun and the moon, their light is being blocked. They're being plunged into darkness. So we rely on the sun and the moon for growth and for creation and for the birthing of things. The sun rules children, the moon rules babies, right? The moon rules over the womb. So when we have an eclipse, the luminaries, the sun and the moon, they get plunged into darkness. There's no light. There's no life force, which is why we see a lot of miscarriages during eclipses and during eclipse season. But what's interesting is for Scorpio specifically, I'm getting a download around pregnancy and procreation. Scorpio sun, Scorpio rising. And this is like it's like a water sign thing. It's gonna be very much in the air. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, pregnancy, procreation, birth, growing their family, getting married, stuff like this, right? It's just like it's gonna continue to be a theme as Jupiter is in Cancer for another like 5, 6 months. But with this particular eclipse, we're gonna that's where the activation is. This could also be about just fun. This can be a very fun eclipse for you. It could be a very social eclipse for you. You can get back to some kind of passion, some kind of project, something that inspires you, or something that creatively motivates you, something like this. You could want to align with. You can go back to like a hobby or something that you enjoyed. Someone said, but aren't babies in belly and the inside of the belly is dark? Uh, yeah, could, well, yeah, obviously babies grow in the dark, but I'm just talking about eclipses and I'm talking about how eclipses affect fertility and procreation. Okay. And you can go read about this as well if you want to go and read some traditional astrological texts that speak about eclipses, and if you want to read about fertility and how eclipses affect fertility. It's not really good for fertility. It's also not good for health stuff, right? Eclipses are we don't want to get surgeries and things like this on the day of an eclipse or during eclipses because of the luminaries' energy being blocked out and because of the chaotic energy of the north node and the south node. um but yes, this is a purely an astrological thing. All right. uh but yeah, so Scorpio Taurus rising, we have a activation of the fourth and the 10th house. So this is about shifts with home and family and living situation, and with like career and ambitions and like your direction and where you want to go in life. So, I do think this eclipse can kind of motivate Scorpio and Taurus risings and suns to make a big pivot or make a big change when it comes to their career and their ambitions, and they may want to align with something that they're more passionate about. Just be mindful of the Mars in the 10th and the Mars in the 4th, though, I'm getting for Scorpio Taurus. This can bring fights or conflicts with the mother or the father, or with bosses, or with a partner. So the Mars can be causing some kind of irritation, or could cause a kind of like fallout or an argument being placed in the 10th and the 4th for the eclipse. Okay. Especially Scorpio rising with Mars in the 4th. Like Mars in the 4th can really bring you're arguing with your mom, you have a fallout with a female family member or something. So just be mindful of that, Scorpios. Okay. Yeah. Someone said, let me move my little Jesus here. My little Jesus. Um, Someone said, as Scorpio rising and Scorpio Venus in the first house, I need to get back into my life. Yes, you do, my love. And just like, detoxify, I think Scorpios need to go through a little bit of a detoxification process with this eclipse. And they also need to, Scorpio energy needs to like, it needs to realize that there's certain things that they can't build foundation with. Or there's certain things that, yeah, that you gifted me that. Thank you. The tiny Jesus. My little baby Jesus. And a booty little baby Jesus. I got my little baby Buddha. Look at my little baby Buddha. My little baby Buddha. And then of course, I got my Ganesh. I always have my big Ganesh. I love Ganesh, by the way. I have him everywhere. There's elephants everywhere. This is actually Ganesh right here. I don't know if you guys noticed that this is a Ganesh right here. I love elephants. If you guys ever want to bring me a gift or something, bring me an elephant. Look at this is my bigger Ganesh. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but it's kind of like blends in with the light, so you can't really like see it. But yeah, I have tons of Ganeshes everywhere. Tons of Ganeshes. Jupiter. He's an archetype of Jupiter. He's connected to Jupiter, and I'm a Jupiter guy, so she said I got the same Jesus. I got the same with Jesus. Yeah. So yeah, so Scorpio Taurus rising, Mars in the 10th of the 4th, okay? I I really do think Tauruses though, Taurus sun, Taurus rising, Taurus sun, this can be an amazing eclipse for your career. So Tauruses can be moving up in the world, they can get noticed, they can get recognized, they can get promoted, they can have a moment of popularity, a moment of fame. They can, have a real go viral, something like this. Tauruses, because of this activation of your 10th house. And Mars really does well in the 10th. So when Mars is transiting our 10th house, it's actually really good. And the reason being is I want you guys to think about Mars's exaltation in Capricorn, because the 10th house is a Capricornian energy, Mars going through the 10th tends to be really good. Like it tends to bring a lot of productivity, a lot of success, or a forward movement when it comes to career and stuff like that. Sometimes it can bring like conflict with a leader or a boss. Oh, she's a Taurus. Oh, she got engaged. Oh, I'm so happy for her. I love that for her. Yeah. But yeah, that's the Mars in the 10th. Yeah, that's the Mars in the 10th. She got engaged. Oh, we love that for her. Taurus. Thinking about trying to think about what Mars was doing. Venus North Node together. I think that's what it is. Venus North Node together. Engagement and marriage. All right, let's move on. It's 12:37. All right, the next signs we're gonna do is mutable signs. Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sag. All right, we're gonna start off with Pisces and Virgo. So Pisces and Virgo, babies, let me tell you right now, okay? Just make sure you're taking care of yourself and getting by, okay? Make sure you are taking care of yourself and make sure that you are laying low for this eclipse and don't burn yourself out and make sure you are Virgo and Pisces rising suns. You guys need boundaries with relationships with people with this eclipse. You need to learn how to let some shit go. Pisces, 12th house eclipse. Venus, Mercury, North Node in your sign. Pisces, Pisces sun, Pisces rising. Baby, you need to learn how to let go. You need to learn how to forgive and forget and move on. Okay? You need to grieve, you need to mourn, and you need to realize that there's better things out there for you that value you and that appreciate you and that are worth what you bring to the table, that are worth what you offer. The 12th house, 6th house axis, I'm gonna be honest with you, Pisces and Virgo, this is a very difficult axis. Okay? This is an axis of self-sabotage, self-delusion, self-destruction. This is also the axis of open enemies and hidden enemies. And this is also the axis of the daily struggle, our work, our habits, our jobs. This can be about new type of work though. This Aquarius eclipse can bring a new job for you, could bring a new source of income for you. It's possible. You can also get a new pet, but you can also experience illness with pets. Your pets can get sick for this eclipse. You may have to take them to the doctor. Okay, they can get a little sinus infection or they can have an ear infection or something like this. Okay. And also you can have issues or troubles with coworkers, okay, and stuff. Because of Mars. I just gotta let y'all know. We have an eclipse, but Mars is in Aquarius still. So Mars is going to be in that 12th house, 6th house, right? So there can be certain things around repressed anger or frustration that that Pisces and Virgo are feeling, that this eclipse brings that shit to the surface. You're like, no, I got some shit that I gotta talk. There's something I gotta say. There's something that I gotta address. There's a letter that I gotta send. There's an email that I gotta send. There's a bone that I have to pick with somebody. Okay. So if you're feeling that, Pisces and Virgo, we may not be seeing the nice, sweet, kind Pisces Virgo energy that we're used to with this eclipse. We may see Pisces and Virgo people feeling a little bit more vocal, feeling a little irritable, feeling a little frustrated, okay? Feeling like they want to challenge somebody or they want to defy something or rebel against something, or just feeling like that something is coming to a close. I will tell you this right now, Virgo and Pisces, there's something ending in your life, a chapter, an era, a habit, a relationship, a karmic cycle, a timeline. Something is coming to an end in your life or has come to an end. And you need to figure out how to rebuild. You need to figure out how to move forward. You need to heal. You need to rest. You need to work on your spirit, get your alone time, work on your self care, work on your routine. Okay? Because that's what's going to help you move through this and help you get initiated or help you begin this new timeline. Okay. Um, the nodes are still going through Pisces and Virgo. So this is about a lot of instability. This is about instability. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to say is there may be erratic communication. There may be, I'm looking at Uranus in the third and the ninth house. So Pisces, I'm looking at Uranus in your third house. And Virgo, I'm looking at Uranus in your ninth house. Okay. In the third house, ninth house axis for Pisces and Virgo, this is about communication and connection. And this is also about morals and ethics and beliefs. And There could be some things right now where someone else's morals, ethics, beliefs, choices, communication style, whatever, decisions, whatever, is not in alignment with you anymore. And you got to say something, you got to challenge them, you got to defy something, you want to bring something up, you want to stir the pot, you want to trigger them, you want to address something and bring to to see if there's future potential. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this eclipse, Pisces and Virgo, rising in sun, if there's no future potential for something, this eclipse is going to show you that in a very rude way, in a very clear way. The future potential of this is there's none. There's no moving forward. There's no progressing here. There's no investing. There's no growing. There's no building. There's no planting seeds. Nada, nothing. The only thing to do is to release it and clear it out. 12th house, 6th house things, south node things is part of your karmic lesson. Learn the lesson, okay? Identify it, okay? Learn it, all right? Because you didn't learn the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. So maybe the seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th time you're going to get it, okay? Because you don't want to be on this karma loop anymore. You don't want to be on the wheel. So for Pisces and Virgo, your karma, this eclipse wants to show you where you have karma. And what do I mean by this? Where you need to learn certain lessons because you're experiencing the same thing again. You've been through this before. You're doing it again. And do you want something different? Do you want something to change? Then you need to do something different. You need to approach the situation differently. You need to challenge yourself to be different and kind of break out of this kind of norm, break out of this comfort zone, break out of this pattern. You need to free yourself from it. Because you've already been here before. Ha ha! You've already been here before. Pisces and Virgo, right? You've done this before. Okay? Are you going to do it again? Okay. Otherwise, you're not going to get the dramatic change or you're not going to get the forward movement that you really deserve and that you're really looking forward to, you know? And that spirit wants for you. I really feel like spirit wants this for you. Another thing I just want to tell you guys, you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself right now. Okay? You got to make sure that you're getting good rest. Pisces, Virgo, good rest, good sleep. Even if this is like you got to lay in bed until 4 in the afternoon. If you don't want to go anywhere, you just want to be at home and just chill and be your own energy, give yourself that, okay? That's what the 12th house and the 6th house axis is about. This is about healing and rest. It's like spending time with yourself to really get to know yourself and to really give your body the downtime it needs to heal because this eclipse can also have you guys getting sick, all right? So if you are a Pisces or a Virgo and you have heart issues, you have blood pressure issues, you have issues, with the blood, the brain. I'm thinking about Saturn and Aries, the blood, the brain, stuff like this. You need to be very mindful and very on top of your health. Okay. Also, I'm just getting high blood pressure, cardiovascular issues, um, stuff like that. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Okay, with this eclipse, because this eclipse can definitely trigger some health stuff. All right, for Pisces and Virgo. Um, what I will say though is because of the Venus, Mercury, North Node, and Pisces in the first seventh house axis and the nodes going through the first and the seventh, Pisces and Virgo babies, there's a lot that you're learning about relationships right now. And there's a lot of karma that you're clearing about relationships. This has been a theme for you. It's been 2025 and it's now still, and it's gonna go until about the middle end of this year. You gotta let people come in and let people go. Like this is a period that's either going to karmically align you with a soulmate to where you like consummate the connection and you guys go deeper and it's like engagement or marriage, or it's about the filtering out and the processing of relationships. Like people come in, it's a karmic partner, it's the same thing that you experienced 8 years ago, 9 years ago. You let them go with the quickness. You move through it like this. The karmic cycling, the nodes are going through your first seventh house axis, Pisces and Virgo. And it's important that you really learn what this is trying to show you. This eclipse cycle is trying to show you, Pisces and Virgo, trying to show you relationships that are unbalanced, that are unfair, trying to show you codependent patterns, interdependent patterns, okay? Woe is me victimhood in relationships and partnerships, okay? Trying to rescue or save someone or expecting someone to rescue or save you, things like this. No, none of that. All of that is ick. All of that is karmic. All of that's going to bring you pain and suffering. All of that's going to bring you loss. If it's also bringing you confusion, if it's confusing you, if it's bringing mystery and confusion, it's a no. It's a no, Pisces and Virgo. You don't need the South Nodian energy right now in love and partnerships. You don't need that. No, no, no. You don't need that. Okay. So someone said I rekindled with my baby daddy for a week and addressed the incons. I'm glad it only took a week. That's all a week. You gave him a week. And that's more than enough time. Shoot. He'll be lucky if he got 2 days with me, 3 days. Okay. I'm giving you 6 hours to do better. You have a 6 hour window. If you don't show me or prove within six, that's it. We're done. You got 10 minutes. Now go. All right, that's it. You failed. Get out, get away from me. Listen, I got a Capricorn moon, I got Venus and Scorpio. Don't waste my time. Okay? My cutoff game is real strong. All right? I'm waiting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm waiting. I got the scissors in hand. I got a knife in one hand. I got scissors in the other. Okay? I'm just give me an opportunity. Just say something wrong. Just look at me the wrong way. Okay? I'm just waiting to cut someone off. It's bad. It's real bad though, y'all. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I promise. I'm becoming a better person. Okay? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Okay. Anyways, enough about me. All right, Sag Gemini. Let's go ahead and move to you guys. Sag Gemini. Sag and Gemini. Eclipse for Sag and Gemini. Enough about me. Smack the wrong. All right. I actually really like this eclipse for Sag Gemini people. So if you're a Gemini rising, Sag Sun, or Gemini Sun, this will more than likely resonate with you. Someone said I have a Venus in Scorpio as well as Scorpio moon, so I can really, oh yeah, the cutoff game is real strong. Okay, like I'm just waiting. I got scissors in hand, okay? I'm just kidding. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about this. So for Gemini in Sag rising, these eclipses are happening around the third house and the ninth house axis. So this is about schooling and education. This is about expanding your wisdom and your knowledge. This is about expansion of your faith, of your belief systems. This solar eclipse in Aquarius can compel Sag and Gemini folks to like go back to school or to like refine a habit, not a no, 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 that's not what I meant to say. To refine a talent or a skill that they have. So Sag Gemini, let's say you want to go back to school for welding, for coaching, for leadership. You want to, become a therapist. You want to become a mentor. You want to, you know, become an electrician. I don't know. We got Sag with Aquarius in the third house. I'm like, oh, you want to become an electrician? Um, Make sure you really invest in yourself with this solar eclipse in Aquarius. Sag Gemini, rising suns, okay, especially. You guys are being motivated to invest in yourself in a new way and to also work on your faith, your spirit, and to work on your mind and your mental health and to be more optimistic and positive and to be more ambitious and be more consistent and be more disciplined as a go-getter. Okay. I do think there can be some karmic tests or karmic struggles around relationships and partnerships for Sag and Gemini. Um, I'm looking at Saturn in the fifth and Saturn in the 11th, and this is giving me tests with friends and social groups. So what I'm kind of getting for its Sag and Gemini is the exiting or the leaving behind of friends and lovers, or realizing that there's certain, burdens or there's certain I don't know. It's just kind of giving people that are unhealthy or toxic or people that are burdensome or people that are like self-destructive and you freeing yourself from those people or having better boundaries in those relationships, or are you realizing like, wait a minute, I can't really invite this person's energy into my life anymore because they're bringing their energy into my life and it's like bringing chaos, it's bringing destruction, it's bringing sadness, it's bringing a lack of safety or things like this. Sad Gemini because of the Saturn ingress and Saturn and Aries in the fifth, 11th house axis. Okay. Um, there's a big focus though for Sag and Gemini. There's a big focus on the fourth house and the 10th house with the nodes there and with Venus, Mercury in the either fourth house or so if you're a Sag, you have North Node, Venus, Mercury in the fourth house of home and family. And if you're a Gemini, you have North Node, Venus, Mercury in the 10th. And this is the access of family, of career, of your home, your living situation, your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. Because the eclipses are going through this, this can be an area of your life, Sad Gemini, that's very confusing right now, that's very unstable, or that's very like, what's gonna happen? And there can be some dramatic, sudden shifts or changes around these things. Or there can be also karmic alignment with these things. So, this eclipse with the nodes along this 10th house, 4th house axis can align you with a living situation that's kind of destined or fated, or that's like for you, right? It can also align you with a job, a career, or even a position, a work position or something that's very tied to your destiny. It's very tied to your karma. It's tied to like, your timeline in some type of way. So I want you guys to be mindful of the nodes going through your 10th and your fourth. You guys, this has been happening for the last year though. So this shouldn't be anything new to you guys. Sag, Gemini, instability around the 10th house and the fourth house. This is something you guys have already been dealing with. Like this has been part of an eclipse narrative that's been going between that 10th and that fourth with the nodes going through those houses, right? But this eclipse in the third house with the nodes in the fourth kind of brings in the energy of aunts and uncles and siblings, and also grandparents, grandmother, grandfather, ninth house. So third house is aunts, uncles, siblings, cousins, extended family. Ninth house is your grandparents, your elders, your coaches, your life mentors, your therapists, the people that you go to for guidance and wisdom, the people we really look up to, we really admire. And we may see these people, there may be some challenges around these people. So, it could be about a fallout with a sibling or a sibling going through something hard. It could be about a grandparent getting sick or getting ill or needing to go to the doctor, go to the hospital, right? You could have a coach that you really loved or that you grew up with pass away or something, right? With the eclipses going along this third house, ninth house axis. So, but this is the positive thing about this. So it's giving me travel. It's giving me going on vacation. It's giving me going back to school and educating yourself. It's giving me investing in certain skills or talents, even possibly getting a certification. So it doesn't have to be about enrolling in school, but maybe you want to get certified for something, right? Maybe you're good at something naturally, but you want to make it official in some type of way. So you need some kind of course, some kind of class, some kind of certification or something, right? That's what the third house and the ninth house axis is about. So for Sag, Gemini, yeah, I'm kind of getting this like, the third, ninth, but this is good though. The ninth house is the house of divinity. It's the house of luck. It's the house of good fortune, right? So I also think that, this eclipse can bring in some good, fortunate things for you guys as well. You know, and just like make sure you guys are being responsible with your money and your spending, Sag and Gemini. You don't want to, if you're already having sad financial issues, you don't want those financial issues to get exacerbated or to get worse. Okay. So make sure you're really, if money has been a point of tension or a point of stress for you, Sag Gemini, um, make sure that you are being more structured or more controlled or more organized around your resources, around your money. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of getting for you guys though. I'm getting like for Sag Gemini, I'm kind of getting I think this is just a message for you guys for this year. I'm getting alignment with like career and like bigger goals or bigger dreams, or even like really lucky opportunities when it comes to like work and stuff, or like getting like a dream job or something like this. So I'm getting something like this for you guys. So I just wanted to share that message because yeah, that came through really strongly, and it may not be like tied to this eclipse. This can be just something that's going to happen this year, for you guys. Okay. All right. So last but not least, it's already 12:56. So let's move on. We're gonna do the cardinal sign. Cardinal. So cardinal signs: Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. Oh, hold on, you guys. Let me move this real quick. My shorts are really short today for some reason. I don't know. I just was like, I had the black shirt and I was like, black and pink. I love it. Let me put on these shorts. I think these shorts are old. I think these shorts are from like when I was younger in my 20s, I believe, because they are squeezing me, okay? They're squeezing me down here. They're very tight. But I was like, I want the pink. I like the black and the pink. It's like one of my favorite color combinations. So, anyways, all right. Let's start with Libra and Aries. Let's start with you guys. So, Aries rising, Libra rising. Wow, this is a good eclipse for you guys. Louis trying to give thigh vibes. A little thick. You guys are funny. All right. Libra, Aries. Libra rising, you guys are having the Aquarius in your fifth house of love and romance and children and creativity and confidence and self-assuredness and your talents and your skills and investments and entrepreneur activity. Libra rising, y'all are feeling real good with this eclipse. I think you guys are seeing a lot of expansion and growth around your fifth house and your sixth house. I think you guys are seeing good things with your kids, good things with children, good things with love and romance. I think Libra rising is also been doing great with like work and career stuff. I think their work and their career life has been like on and popping. It's been doing great. Maybe there's been some health struggles or some health issues that they've been dealing with. Maybe some anxiety, some stress that I'm kind of getting as well. Especially for Libra rising, with the South Node in Virgo in the eighth house. But this like eclipse in the fifth with like North Node Venus Mercury in the sixth, I think that this is a very empowering, inspiring, initiating, door opening eclipse for Libra rising. Okay. I think Libras, you guys are getting the best of this eclipse. I think you guys are, you know, going to see good things with your kids possibly, right? There can be some struggles around love and partnership though, and there could also be what could be a theme for, I think is going to be a theme for you for Libra and Aries, okay? The maturity of relationships and relationships that are more serious or more stable coming in, or even relationships that we're already in, maturing and growing and becoming long-term foundational. So this can be about engagement. This can be about proposals, engagement, right? Getting engaged. This can be about marriage and ceremony and celebration and stuff like this. This can also be about just like reward and recognition for you. Like you get rewarded for this eclipse for your accomplishments. Your boss gives you some accolade, you win something, you get lucky, you win something, you know what I mean? You win those millions, and then you send Louis 200 of that because he told you that he was going to win those millions today. So 200,000 that was. I'm not, unless you win like like, 100 million, then you're sending me 2 million. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, there's like really good stuff. This is a very optimistic, very door opening um eclipse for especially for Libra. Also, another thing that Libra rising, real quick, this could also be about the initiation of business partnerships or the beginnings of a business. So this eclipse for Libra rising can like push you to like start a business or to make some changes and some refinements around your business if you are an entrepreneur, or it can also like, I don't know, you can get promoted, you can move up in the world, you can get a better job, or you can become the boss at your job or something. This eclipse is really good for you guys, actually. I really love this. Okay. Aries. Okay. But for Aries, Someone said, "Oop, if you ain't talking money, I don't want to talk." So for Aries, I think this eclipse is gonna bring some fulfillment or alignment with like higher goals and dreams and things like this. Um, I will also say though, Aries, like I think this eclipse wants you guys to be more disciplined and self-controlled and wants you guys to kind of think about how you need to make a pivot or a change with like your home or your living situation or even with like residency in a way that it can help you with like your goals or your career or something. So let me explain. Let's say you're living in like a little rural town, right? And you're in Aries and you want to achieve something great, you want to work a job that's located in like the city or that's located in like another state. So this eclipse can show you, Aries, that for you to have that, it could even be like a relationship, like a long distance relationship. For you to have that person, for you to have that job, you need to move and like leave, and you need to like make a big change around your living situation, and you need to like let like there's something foundational that needs to change so you can allow these opportunities to come in. And if this eclipse shows you that, it reveals that to you, make sure you're paying attention and make sure you're like preparing or you're planning or you do the work to go ahead and make that change, okay? Very important. Aries has Saturn going through their sign now, right? Aries rising, Aries sun. And so Saturn is going to want to get you guys to mature. Saturn's going to test you. Saturn's going to want you to be more responsible. Saturn is also going to motivate you guys to start thinking about the long-term things in your life. Like your health, okay, your health, long-term health, right? Your career. What does that look like, right? A relationship. Is it time to commit to a relationship and really invest because this is the person you're going to be with, right? There's going to be a lot of this energy of like maturity and longevity and responsibility that Aries is going to be kind of, it's going to be impressed upon them. Saturn's going to initiate them into these things. It's going to show them it's time to commit. It's time to ground. It's time to be responsible. It's time to mature, Aries. It's time to grow up. All right? Stop being a kid. Stop being a child. It's time to be a man or be a woman. Okay? Be a man. No, 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 no. Be a man. It's time to grow up and mature. Right? And Saturn's really going to push this upon you guys, upon Aries placements. Okay? Um, the 11th house is the house of friends. And we do have this eclipse with Mars up there. So Aries, if you have some fallouts with friends, some tension with friends, some conflicts with your friends, your social group, all of a sudden there's something a little funky, a little weird about it, you want to be very aware of that. Someone said, could this be for Aries North Node as well? Yeah, but mainly Aries rising and Aries Sun. I have North Node and Aries. So you're probably born around the same time that I was born. You're probably born around like 87. Um, 86? Yeah, you're probably born around like 87, 86, maybe possibly late 85, 87, 86, 85. Yeah, around there. Um, but yeah, so it's a huge time of development and maturity for Aries. And this eclipse wants to show you guys that you need to align with the right people that are going to help you build the bigger goals or help you build towards the goals and the dreams. So, okay, this is a download I'm getting. So Aries, like this could be about, okay, you have certain goals or certain dreams, but you need to position yourself socially around the correct people to help you build towards them, right? So I want you guys to really think about that, okay? Well, the thing, why is Aries energy, why is the energy of prison and sickness and illness? Why is that energy been showing up for Aries and Libra? Right? Having to go to jail, having to deal with the prison system, having to go to the hospital, having to go to the doctor, having to, getting sick. Why has this been showing up for Aries and Libra? Because the North Node and the South Node are going through Pisces and Virgo, which is their 12th house and their 6th house. The 12th house is the house of imprisonment. And what do we have in the 12th house for Pisces right now? Or for Aries? We have the North Node. We have Venus. We have Mercury in Pisces in the 12th house. This is why Aries are always going to jail. I'm just, I'm just kidding, but Aries is the model prisoner, honestly. You guys look good in prison. Aries looks good in jail. These are like, I guarantee you, a lot of these handsome men, that you've seen it's been like a thing with the North Node of Saturn and Pisces. We have this thing around like these sexy prisoners. And honestly, prison looks good on people sometimes. Venus exalts in Pisces. Okay? Like, and Aries is just a model prisoner. I hate to say it. It is what it is. Y'all the criminals of the zodiac. Aries is one of the criminals of the zodiac. They don't do good with the law. So Aries does not do good with the law. They don't do good with authority figures. They don't do good with social policy either. Like Aries is always the deviant because they have Saturn ruled 11th and 10th house. So this is why they're like very anti-government and very break the law and very I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna do it my own way. You don't fucking tell me what to do. Okay? It's because of this Saturn influence on the 10th and the 11th houses. That's why they want to deviate, they want to go against the grain. It's a very Aries energies because they have Aquarius ruling the 11th. So, and that's why Aries always has like just the funniest, strangest friends and a huge network of friends, and they'll be friends with anybody and everybody. Aries is because of the Aquarius in the 11th. But yeah, so with the eclipse up there in the 11th house for Aries for y'all, like we may see some sudden shifts or changes around your relationships, especially around love and romance and friendships and stuff. But this can also bring new friends in, right? So this could also be for Aries and Libra, new friends and new lovers. This new moon in Aquarius can be like, oh, guess what? New friends, new lovers. Baby daddy going to jail again, and guess what? Me, Capricorn baby day is a cop and a sergeant. That's crazy. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I really Aries and Libra rising. I really like this eclipse for you guys. I think the 11th house, 5th house axis is one of the best. I think this is wants to bring in something new, wants to bring in new relationships, new partnerships, new connections, a new relationship with yourself. We may see some stuff around work or jobs or home and family that's a little tough or a little difficult. There can be some things around like loss or sickness or stuff like this that you have to deal with. There could be like the exiting of a job or leaving of a job, especially for Aries, not so much for Libra, but for Aries, yes. This can be about the exiting a job or things like this, or troubles in the workplace or having a coworker that don't like you. Oh, that's very like okay, like that type of energy. The very that type of energy, okay, very nitpicky. That's a very Aries thing. Aries has Virgo in the sixth house, so they always end up with these coworkers. They have like a job that's very like nitpicky and very like ugh, and it just gives them this energy that's just very exhausting and very you know. Ugh. But yeah, okay. All right. Last but not least, Cancer and Capricorn. Oh, oof, oof. Cancer and Capricorn. Rising and sun primarily. Let's talk about the eclipse for you guys. Am I going the right direction? Oh yeah, I am. I'm like, am I going the right direction here? Yeah, I am. All right, Cancer and Capricorn. Wowza. Eighth house, second house eclipses. Oh no, Jesus. Oh Lord Jesus. Okay. So Capricorn rising, Cancer rising, Capricorn sun moon, or Capricorn Cancer suns. You can use your moon sign if you want, but yeah. The second house, eighth house access. This is about resources and money. And this is about financial stability, and this is also about trust and vulnerability, and this is about emotional intimacy and depth and closeness when it comes to relationships with others. And this is about trust and truth, and it's about kind of going deep with people. But this eclipse can also compel you to purge or release something that you've been holding on to, or somebody love, somebody you've been holding on to that's not really in alignment with you anymore. And you are like, I deserve more, and I know my worth, and I know my value, and I deserve something better, you know? So there could be this energy. Cancer, Capricorn, the eclipse is in the eighth house. I'm looking at Jupiter retrograde in the first and the seventh. You know, this can also be about legal stuff and divorces or separations or alimony, or needing to go to court, or needing to bring a job to court, or the government and shit like this, like dealing with the government and weird stuff with the government. You know they did your you know they did your taxes wrong, or they didn't give you the proper amount, or they shorted you or something like this. So Cancer, Capricorn, make sure you're on top of your money, you're on top of your resources, you're taking a look at all your bank statements, you're taking a look at your tax stuff, you're getting all that ready and organized. If there's someone that owes you money, make sure that you bring them to court so that they pay you back that money, because baby, listen, it's time to pay up. Stuff like this. I also do think there's gonna be this energy of like traveling and going somewhere for this eclipse. It's very karmically aligned for Capricorn and Cancer. So what I mean by this is there's like maybe a travel. It doesn't have to be somewhere far. It could be somewhere local, or it can even just be like a little weekend trip or something. Um, that's about like destiny or fate, or that's about some kind of experience that you're gonna have that's gonna like show you things or help you move forward or help you initiate or begin something. Okay. Um, we're gonna start to see uh Cancer and Capricorn with this eclipse. They are thinking about setting new foundations, or rupturing and liberating themselves from existing ones. So this can be about signing a new lease, purchasing a new house. This can be about getting started with a new career, getting a new job going, something like this. Mainly because for Capricorn and Cancer risings and suns, Saturn in Aries has just ingressed into their fourth or their 10th house, right? So if you're a Cancer rising, Saturn has just gone into your 10th. If you're a Cancer, if you're a Capricorn, Saturn has just gone into your fourth. And this activation of Saturn going through the 10th or the fourth tells us that these houses, the house of fourth house, home, family, your living situation, 10th house, career, goals, ambitions, the way you show up in the world, your public image, your public reputation, right? The 10th house is your father, the fourth house is your mother, okay? Saturn going into these houses is going to start to bring some kind of maturity, some kind of growth, some kind of alignment, some kind of test, some kind of karmic retribution, some kind of purification, some kind of deep, powerful lesson around these houses. But it's going to be about creating a new foundation or building a new foundation in some type of way. But it can also be about the initial rupturing of a current foundation, so that because there's like a shift or a change, and then we're building like a new one. All right. So I just want you guys to think about this with this solar eclipse in Aquarius for Capricorn and Cancer. How are the foundations of your life kind of like shifting? How do you want more freedom or more time or more autonomy for yourself? How are people moving in and out of your life possibly? Where does there need to be more trust? Where do you need to feel more appreciated, more valued? Where do you need more stability and security in your life? And how can you position yourself to start moving towards those things, right? Start creating more security, more safety, more stability in your life. This can be a little bit of an erratic or an unstable eclipse for um, Cancer and Capricorn, especially financially. I want you guys to be mindful of, for Cancer, Capricorn, rising suns, unexpected expenses, random expenses coming out of nowhere, debts that you have to pay that you haven't paid, that come out of nowhere, stuff like this. Be careful with giving people money or letting people borrow money right now. Be very selective with that. Use your discernment around that with this eclipse, because it can be a thing for Cancer and Capricorn of whatever you give, however you help or support right now, it may not be reciprocated or it may not come back to you. It may just be something that you just like give and you just have to accept like, hey, I'm just giving this to this person. I'm gonna help this person out. I want to, um, not support them, but I want to help them in a moment and just let it be what it is. Okay. Um, but what I will tell you though is with the ingress of Saturn and Aries, tied to this eclipse, you're gonna see a lot of Capricorns and Cancers. They're no longer about the bullshit. Like they're like setting boundaries, they're saying no, they're like they don't want to help or support or nurture or care for things anymore that are not pouring into them or not giving back that same energy. You're going to see this very, very strongly with Capricorn and Cancers. There's this energy that I'm getting with Capricorn and Cancer of being fed up. I'm fed up with this. This is irritating me. I'm fed up with this. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't carry this person's burden anymore. I can't continue to, be connected to this person. I can't continue to give energy and space and time to this job or to this workplace or to this friend or whatever. Like these really strong boundaries coming up and this energy of like Capricorn and Cancer being like, this is not my responsibility. This is not the thing that I want to nurture or care for. This is not really pouring back into me, and so I'm done with it. I want to free myself from it. I want to release it from me. And it may be very hard. Okay, I will tell you, the eclipses going through the eighth house and the second house axis tend to stir up a lot of emotion, and then it tends to bring up things around our own intrinsic worth and our own values. Okay, and also we can be dealing with situations with this eclipse, Cancer and Capricorn, that test your value system, that test your self-respect, or that test your self-worth. Okay? And you have to stand strong. Hero pose, superhero pose, right? And when it comes to yoga, you got to stand strong, chest out, chin up, eyes forward. I honestly, I could have been in the military. I think I would have been good. I think I would have done great in the military. I do have Jupiter and Aries, and I have a 10th house Saturn and Sag. So I feel like I would have made a good military person. Like I could have been a good, like a good drill sergeant and stuff like that. I miss the calling. Maybe in the next life. But yeah, well, you need to stand confidently with this eclipse. This eclipse, it's interesting because another thing that I'm getting, it's so interesting. Aquarius energy is very foreign. We're gonna be in this eclipse energy for the next like month. Um, we go through 2 week lunar cycles. So we have this first eclipse, and then we're gonna have another eclipse. That's gonna be a lunar eclipse in Pisces. Yeah, we're gonna have a lunar eclipse in Pisces. And yeah. Oh wait, no. No, 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 my bad. It's gonna be a lunar eclipse in Virgo. Yeah. So we have this solar eclipse in Aquarius, and then we're gonna have a lunar eclipse in Virgo 2 weeks from now, two-ish weeks from now. So it'll be like a 1 month long thing that we're gonna be in the eclipse energy. Okay. Most immediately though, the day prior, the day of, the day after the eclipse is these are the most prominent periods of the eclipse, the strongest. Okay. Um, but an interesting download I got for Capricorn and Cancer is rebelling against the values or like the traditional values that they've held on to in updating their value system. So what we may find and you may be feeling this Capricorn and Cancer, you may find that the things that you valued, the things that you wanted, the things that you desired, even like the way like certain traditional ways that you grew up, certain karmic patterns, whatever, like you don't want those things anymore. Like those are outdated. Like those are old. Like, oh, I don't want that anymore. This isn't really aligned with me anymore. This value system that I had is not really, it's like this updating of the value system. And because of that, there becomes a shift and change with things in your life. Like, with the type of people that you connect with um, the way you show up in your relationships, right? More honesty, more confidence, more clarity, chutzpah, more chutzpah, showing up with more chutzpah in the relationship, right? Stuff like this. Yeah. But it's really interesting because I'm gonna talk about this with the Virgo eclipse. I just really feel like Capricorn and Cancers are these signs that are either going through a divorce or separation or they're falling in love and getting married this year. and they're like having a baby and starting a family and like divinely aligning with the partner, or if they're not in alignment with the partner, then they're going through a divorce or separation or leaving someone behind this year. I just really feel this very strongly for Capricorn and Cancer specifically. Okay. So I think you guys need to really take notice of who you're in relationship with. Take a look at the quality of your relationship with this eclipse, because what I will tell you is by the middle of this year, Capricorn and Cancer, we are going to see some positive shifts around love and relationship for you guys. Or we're going to see, yeah, and it could be, and the positive shift can literally be you leaving behind a toxic person. That's literally what the positive shift could be. Crazy Louis, you mentioned values for Pisces rising me, and I had issues with the values of the Capricorn rising. It's wild. You were touching up on the values again. He's trying to switch up in a good way. Just wanted to share that. Yeah, because Capricorn and Cancer, they are having to align with better value systems. They're having to align with things that are actually more true or authentic to themselves. So there's this energy of like, it's so interesting, right? This is a very Capricorn Cancer thing, right? This kind of like loyalty to the past and this like loyalty to tradition and loyalty to culture and family. And how sometimes Capricorn and Cancer, because they have this loyalty to their kids and to their mom and to their dad and to their culture and to the church and to this loyalty actually holds them back from their truth and their authenticity. And at some point, that loyalty becomes an expense because it's not actually in alignment with their values. And they adopt the values of the things that they're loyal to. And they think that loyalty becomes compromise. Like loyalty becomes compromise. Loyalty becomes self sacrifice. Loyalty becomes keeping things quiet. Loyalty becomes staying small. Loyalty becomes not growing too big or not being too independent or not being too selfish or not being too self-serving and not doing things for yourself. And like loyalty looks like codependency for Capricorn and Cancer a lot of times. Loyalty looks like codependency. Okay? And so with that being said, okay, it's time to free yourself from this loyalty to things that are not actually in alignment with you. They're not good or healthy for you. That actually don't respect you or value you or appreciate you. You're loyal to a partner that doesn't even value you or appreciate you. You're loyal to a parent that has been very toxic and unhealthy for you. It's like misplaced loyalty. It's like loyalty it's like loyalty that's coming from a place of trauma and like, please love me, please value me, please appreciate me. Please see my worth. Please see my worth. See how valuable I am. Look at all the things. Look at all the things I do for you. Look how loyal I am to you. For what? Why? What's that doing for you? Nothing. Making you feel less worthy. Making you feel underappreciated. Making you feel devalued. Making you feel fucking up your confidence. Fucking up your self-esteem. For what? In the name of what? Loyalty. To what? Come on now. Wake up, Cancer Capricorn. Get it together. Get it together. What is this? Devotion and loyalty. We give those things to the people, the places, the jobs, the energies, the experiences that value us, that appreciate us, that give us, that respect us. Bare minimum respect. That's what we devote ourselves to. That's what we commit to. That's what we are loyal to. Not these things that make us feel insecure, that put us down, that make us question ourselves, that make us feel taken advantage of. No. Mm-mm. I really do think Cancer and Capricorn needs to really think about the things that they're committed to with this solar eclipse in Aquarius and whether or not those commitments are even in alignment with the things that they want and the future that they see for themselves. Where do you have loyalty that's actually betraying you? Your loyalty, your commitment, your devotion is actually self-betrayal and self-rejection. And you're thinking that that loyalty is gonna is like virtuous, which it is in some type of way, but to the wrong things. To the wrong things. Being loyal and devoted to the wrong things, to the wrong people, to the wrong places, to the wrong job, to the wrong family, to the wrong friends. Think about this. Cancer and Capricorn, okay? Jupiter's trying to show you some things right now. Jupiter is trying to help you expand and grow. Capricorn and Cancer people, okay? And that expansion and growth is going to look like you leaving things behind that you have outgrown. You've outgrown those relationships that are a reflection of your lack of self-worth. This is why when we start to become confident, when we start to glow up, when our skin starts to glow, when we start to do good and achieve and accomplish things, the first thing that starts to happen, the people that have been in our life start to fall away because those people are energetically not in alignment with the future you, with the person that you're becoming. This person that's confident, this person that's successful, this person that's ambitious, this person that knows their worth, this person that knows that has self-respect, right? Because all those people before that, they mirror the elements of you that are not worthy, that struggle with self-esteem and self-worth, right? That struggle with, a lack of security or safety of the self, that are confused and lost in the sauce within the self, right? So it's natural when we start to evolve and change. The first thing that's going to evolve and change is our relationships. That's the first thing. That's where the change really starts to happen. That's where we start to see it first. And it's hard and it's difficult because many of us, especially Cancer and Capricorn, Cancer and Capricorn are signs of attachment. They love to attach themselves to things, and they're very protective and defensive over things. Like they're very like my kids and my children and my family, and they're very like they have this loyalty and this protection energy to with these things, right? But a lot of times that energy it keeps them stuck, and they don't grow. And all of a sudden they're protecting and they're being a service and they're devoted to the things that are actually a reflection of their lack of self-worth and self-esteem, right? So this is like this moment. It's like Jupiter is trying to show Cancer and Capricorn people right now. Jupiter's been trying to show you guys this for the last 6 months, and hopefully you learn and you see, trying to show you how you need to grow bigger and larger and reach for more and kind of expand and kind of go beyond the confines of your life, the things that have been secure and safe and stable that have also been limiting you and holding you back some type of way, or even the connections that are a reflection of who you no longer are, right? So it's very important. Cancer and Capricorn, you know what I mean? It's like you guys need to be aligning yourself with this eclipse with people that really value and appreciate you, important to you, and understand you and see you, and also people that you can be vulnerable with. I think it's vulnerability is so important for Capricorn and Cancer people. They need vulnerability, they need intimacy, they need closeness, and they need trust in relationships, right? It has to be that way. If it's not like that, then it's not for you, babes. Jay said, agreed. My Cap friend has been at the same job, same toxic relationship. I know he can grow and expand so much more with more things aligned. Someone said, oh my God, that's me. I literally was just thinking this morning in the past few weeks about changing my circle, my environment. Yeah. You guys are gonna feel compelled to do this. Okay. I will, but I'm gonna tell you. Cancer, Capricorn. This is for cardinal signs as well. So if you have Libra, Aries as well, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Libra, cardinal signs. April of this year and July of this year, Aries season and Cancer season of this year, there's a lot changing in your life. Things are shifting and things are changing. And we're going to start to see huge shifts with your guys' foundation. Okay? And you guys are going to be committing to change in some type of way, and we're going to see a lot of pivots. A lot of cardinal signs are going to be pivoting, especially in April and especially in July. We're going to see that very strongly for you guys, okay? All right, my loves, but I'm going to leave it here. This is where I'm going to leave it. This is it. We're done. Okay? I did an hour and a half. That's pretty good. We did good on time. It wasn't I didn't go 2 hours. Um, Solar eclipse in Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of rebellion. It's a sign of authenticity. It's a sign of the future. It's a sign of your true authentic self. It's the sign of community, of friendship, of camaraderie, of equality, of fairness, of truth, of of the utopian society we're all capable of living. Aquarius is the utopian society that we can all envision. That's what Aquarius is, right? Aquarius is the sign of aliens, okay? It's also the sign of the disenfranchised. So, foster kids, Pisces and Aquarius are connected to this, but like foster kids, those that don't have parents, those that, get stuck in the system in some type of way, that's all Aquarius. Aquarius has a lot to do with the ostracized and the outcast. So the black sheep of the family, right? Those that are bullied, those that aren't included in the group. It's so interesting because even though Aquarius rules over the collective and the group, a lot of Aquariuses feel that they are strange and different and they get ostracized and they get bullied. It's a very common thing actually. A lot of Aquariuses they go through a period of their life or they go through an experience where they get bullied or picked on, and sometimes it's sad because it starts off young and it's from one of their own parents or from a sibling or something. It's typically where it shows up very early, where a lot of Aquarius is they have a bad relationship with one of their parents. Especially the father. The father figure for Aquarius is I don't know, y'all. You got your father figures, man. I don't know about that. There's something off about it. Aquarius is in the relationship with their dad. The non-existent, distant, controlling, cold, weird, funky relationship that they have with the father. There's some karma that you got there. You got to figure that out, Aquarius is, okay? You got some weird, funky stuff with your daddy. You got to figure that out. Yeah. So I started I started to date an Aquarius and he shared with me that he was adopted. Yep, it's a very common thing. Very, very common thing. Aquarius is being in the foster system. Someone said truth, Aquarius here with that Aquarian father. Someone said accurate. Oh my God, sister's an Aquarius and her relationship with my dad. Oh, yeah. But you know what's so funny? I really do think that Aquariuses are here to hold their parents and their fathers accountable. And I think Aquariuses are like they one up the toxic dad. They're like, oh, you want to be toxic? You want to They're like, oh, you want to be toxic? You want to be mean? You want to be an asshole, dad? Well, I'm gonna one up you. I can go even harder. Okay, I'll be more of an ass to you. You want to argue? You want to fight? Let's do it. That's what I love about Aquarius is. Aquariuses are not afraid to challenge an authority figure, especially a male authority figure, and they will fight and they will argue with them. That's why I love me some Aquarius energy sometimes. Sometimes you just need a good Aquarius on your team to like talk some shit to the manager. Like have an Aquarius talk shit to the manager and call the manager out on their bullshit. Someone said my sister's birthday is an eclipse and our dad is a Libra sun. Yeah, it's the same thing with Libras. Yeah. It's because the sun is weak in Libra and Aquarius. I pressed my Scorpio grandpa for hurting my Aquarius father. In my relationship with my mom, Cancer Sun, I can't stand my mouth. Literally avoids me. I'm an orphan. I'm basically an orphan, she said. That's That is the truth. My sister and dad didn't speak for years, 7 to be exact. Yeah, 7 years is a Saturn cycle too. So it's so funny how your Aquarius sister didn't speak to her dad for 7 years because that's the 7 years of karmic banishment that Saturn gives people. Saturn does things in 7, 8 year cycles. And so, when we stop talking to someone and it's like a 7 year cycle, or someone shows up in our life and they show up 7 years later, 8 years later, it's it's tied to karma and it's tied to Saturn. So you always want to be very cognizant of when that time shows up, like 7, 8 years as like a thing. It's tied to karma, it's tied to Saturn, it's tied to and Saturn, the old father, right? The dad that ate all of his kids, right? Saturn. So Saturn is the bad father, where Leo, the son, is the good father. Saturn is the abusive, cold, mean, prejudiced, judgmental father that feels threatened by the kid, right? That's what Saturn is. That's what Aquarius is. So, yeah. Understanding the archetypes. Once you understand the archetypes, you learn about the stories behind the planets and about the narratives, you'll be able to see how it manifests very strongly in people's lived experience. It's very crazy. Yeah, the 7 year itch is a real thing with anything. Anything that you commit to, no matter what it is. It could be a job, it could be a career path, it could be a person, it could be the 7 year itch is a real astrological fact, and it's tied to Saturn because it's the 7 year itch is our first Saturn square with anything that we have. And we can even go back to your life. Think about when you were 7, 8 years old. Usually around that age, 7, 8, we go through something very hard, very difficult. It's our first experience of growth and maturity. So a lot of times around the ages of 7 and 8, parents will get a divorce or separate. You'll move randomly, or you'll move and you'll have to start a whole new life somewhere else. You'll go through some kind of loss, a passing of a pet. You'll go through a sickness around that age 7 and 8. Something that wakes you up to like, wait a minute, you're a kid still, but not really. Like, here, let me show you some reality. Someone said my aqua rising friend has a toxic dad and she always puts him in his place. Yeah. The reason why Aquarius has trauma with the father, it's for a few reasons. And a toxic dad, typically, not always, but typically, it's because if you put Aquarius on the rising, what do you get in the 10th house? Scorpio, the sign of trauma and betrayal and secrecy and deception and power and manipulation. This is why Aquarius is their father tends to have Scorpio energy. He hides things. He's secretive. He's deceptive. He emotionally gaslights. He's manipulative. He betrayed your mother. He hurt your mother's feelings. Very toxic. Um, yeah. The other reason is because the sun goes into detriment in Aquarius. So the sun, which is the planet of the father, is weak in the sign of Aquarius. So it's this combination of Scorpio in the 10th house for Aquarius and the sun being in detriment in Aquarius that creates this kind of like toxicity and this kind of like woundedness around the relationship with the father. This combination. Yes, my Aquarius sun has an absent, abusive, addict father. Yes, that's my father. He's clingy, codependent. You came to the States when you were 7 years old. Yep. Yes, my aqua rising best friend has a toxic dad, and she always puts him in his place. Yep, so that's the Scorpio in the 7th, in the 10th. Yep. That's your job. Your job, if you're an Aquarius, your job is to hold leaders and hold your father and hold the men in your life or the masculine energy in your life accountable. You'd be like, you can't be like that. Don't be an asshole. And if you're gonna be an asshole, I'm gonna match you. That's one of the things I love about Aquarius energy as well. Is like, I'm gonna match that energy. You want to be an asshole? I will be an asshole. Okay. You want to be cold and mean? I'm gonna be cold and mean. I'm gonna give you the same energy. Right? I'm gonna match you with that bullshit. So it's a very Aquarius thing to do. Very Aquarius, very, very Aquarius. You know what's so interesting is I actually think Aquarius and Scorpio have a lot in common. I think these two signs, they have a lot in common. Like, I think once they get wronged by people and stuff like this, oh, you're gonna see a side of them that can be very cold and very mean and very kind of like, I'm out, and they will ice you out. They will ice you out. They will totally ghost you. These are signs, Scorpio and Aquarius. I think these are signs that would love to ghost people. They don't love it, but they do it as a protective mechanism because they realize like, wait a minute, there's no fixing this. There's no clearing this up. No, I'm gonna cut you out. I'm cutting you off. I'm letting you go. They have no hesitation to do that. No hesitation to do that. Like they could be a little cold and a little mean, and they will cut you off. Okay, and they have no qualms with that. Okay. My ex calls me the ice queen. I will ghost you. My best friend is a Scorpio sun, Aqua rising. I'm a Leo rising, and she just gives me life. Oh, I love that. Yeah, you're Leo, right? Yeah, well, yeah, Aquarius and Leo are best friends, right? Because they oppose each other on the astrological wheel. So you'll always see when people have placements in your seventh house, they'll either be your enemy or your friend. They'll either be friend or foe, lover or foe. That's how the seventh house works, there's gonna be people that are the sign of your seventh that you love, and you're like, oh my god, this person is like so amazing, they're so great, and they're all the good qualities of your seventh house sign. And then there's gonna be people that you fucking hate and that you loathe. And sometimes it can switch up. Sometimes you can start off loving that person, and then by the end of the relationship, you fucking hate them. You don't want to see them ever again. Right? Or they can start off as an enemy or a foe, and then all of a sudden you guys become best friends. That's how the seventh house works. It's really funny. It's really funny the way the seventh house works. The seventh house be doing that. Yeah. Yeah, it's our sister sign. Yeah, we're always going to attract the sign opposite of our rising. So Virgos love the shit out of me. Oh, I can't stand them, but I'm just Virgos love the crap out of me. Oh my gosh. I be having Virgos be chasing me down. I swear to God, spirit just be there's a line of Virgos outside of my house right now as we speak. It's because I'm Pisces rising, and I got Virgo in the seventh, and I also got a Capricorn moon, and my moon trines Virgos. So Virgo energy. I'm like, get it away from me, Heavenly Father. Get these Virgos away from me, Lord, and I just can't kick them. I swear to God, they just be showing up, coming out of the woodwork. I'd be like, oh, what's your sign? They're like, I'm a Virgo. I'm like, fuck, again? Okay, here we are again. I can't get away from it. I'll be out in the street, just meet someone randomly. Someone's like, "Oh, I like your dog. Oh my God." And we start picking up a conversation. Oh my God, what's your sign? I'm a Virgo. All right, peace, deuces. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's crazy. Virgos just be loving me, man. Holy moly. And you know what's so funny is like Virgos, they don't love people. They don't like people. Virgos are not, they don't like people. They're very picky and choosy with who they like. Virgos are very much like ew, ew. And Libras like this too. It's one of the things that Virgo and Libra have in common. They're like ew, ew. They're very picky and choosy with who they like, associate with. But with me, oh my God, they're like, "Oh, you're my best friend." Like it's funny because when I meet a Virgo, they're right away. They're like, "Oh, you're my best friend. Oh, you're my best friend. I want to be around you all the time. Oh, we're close. Oh, like they're like, when am I seeing you again? Oh, when's our next session? Whenever I have a client that has Virgo placements, oh, when's our next session? I'm putting you on my calendar. I'm going to see you 3 months from now. We're going to go ahead and set an appointment for May. We're going to set an appointment for October. I'm going to have you in my calendar. I'm factoring you into my life. It's like, it's so funny. It's really funny. Someone said I feel exposed. It's the Pisces energy. Let me tell you, if you're a Virgo, you need a Pisces in your life. You do. Get yourself a good, healthy, high vibrational Pisces. And whether it be a lover or a friend or whatever, get yourself a Pisces. Okay. That's your mom, Virgo rising the 70th. My mom's a Virgo. I'm never gonna kick that woman. Capricorn moon. My mom's a Virgo. I'm never gonna get rid of that woman. That woman she's always gonna be sticking around. She's a what do you call this? She's a foundational part of my life. My mother. Pisces tortured me in this lifetime. Oh yeah, Pisces. A low vibrational Pisces can be really bad, y'all. It can be real bad. You know, a toxic Pisces can be real toxic. Like, Pisces is like you either get the saint or the sinner. You know what I mean? They can be Jehovah and they can be Jesus on wheels and they can be so like sweet and kind, but they can also just be so messy and so self-destructive and so chaotic and depressive and stuff like this. Um, yeah, you know. I think of Kurt Cobain. It's so interesting because I was looking at Saturn in Pisces always brings deaths that are really sad and really tragic, and they become like a cultural, they have a cultural impact. So what I did, was it yesterday, the day before yesterday? I looked at Saturn in Pisces in the 90s, and Saturn was in Pisces from 94 to 96. And do you guys know who passed away in those years? What prominent people passed away in those years? 94 to 96. I'll tell you. Tupac, Kurt Cobain, and there was one more. I think was it Princess Diana? Hold on, let me see. No, no, no. She was Saturn in Aries. There was someone else. There was one more. Biggie. Yep. Biggie. Biggie passed away. There was someone else though that was like very prominent. Oh, Selena. That was it. Selena. Oh, Selena. Yes, Selena. So Saturn and Pisces, what we always see with Saturn and Pisces is tragedy and loss around those that are like famous or those that are on television or like those are celebrities. And there's like a collective grief that Saturn and Pisces has us go through. When we lose when we lose like even Saturn and Pisces over the last few years, think about how many people passed away, right? From 2024 to 2026. Think about the tragedies that we had, the people that have passed. And we always deal like when Saturn goes through Pisces, we tend to we tend to have these losses that really impact the collective on a deep soul level, you know? It's really sad. Yeah, and yeah, Pisces is the 12th house to Aries, right? So, Selena passed away when Saturn was going through her 12th house. Um, and she ended up having an employee, Aries, Virgo in the sixth house, Saturn opposite the sixth house. She had an employee that murked her, who was frauding her, right? Taking advantage of her and stuff. So I believe she was like obsessed with her and like in love with her and stuff. I think that's what's her name? What's her name? The one that murdered Selena? I think she was obsessed with her. She was like in love with her too. Oh, Yolanda Saldivar. Yeah, Yolanda Saldivar. Yeah, I think she was in love with her as well. Like obsessed, toxic love, weird, weird. Yolanda. Yeah. So, but yeah, Saturn in Pisces, but I'm just so glad that Saturn's exited Pisces. But now with Saturn in Aries, we're gonna see, the death of prominent, military officials, athletes, presidents, or leaders, you know, prominent passing of leaders and stuff like this. Men, some significant men are gonna pass away with Saturn in Aries. But yeah. All right, my loves. Don't want to end this on a sad note, but hey, here we are. I'll leave you guys. I'll leave you guys to your own devices. I'm gonna go ahead and post this live on Instagram right away. It'll be on YouTube within the next like 5 to 6 hours. We have our eclipse on Tuesday. That's when it's gonna peak. I will see you guys tomorrow for the week ahead astro. So we're going to be talking about the astrology of the week. I will be probably reiterating some points that I went over today, tomorrow, because the big event of this upcoming week is the eclipse in Aquarius and the beginning of Aquarius season. So I'll probably talk about the eclipses in eclipse season tomorrow for the week ahead as well, and talk a little bit more about that. Okay. But I love you all so much. Thank you all for being so sweet and so kind and so loving and so supportive and everything. And for all of you that send me your friends and your family members, I'm just so grateful and appreciative. A lot of my business comes from word of mouth. It comes from referrals. That's actually where the majority of my business comes from. So, you guys, sharing, oh my God, I got this reading by this guy. You got to talk to him. He's amazing. And I'm just so grateful and appreciative of that because you guys, you know, make this all possible for me. I wouldn't have this beautiful, look at this beautiful lifestyle. Look at this beautiful life that I have. Look at this. Look at this beautiful apartment, this beautiful space that I've decored. I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for you guys. You guys make this all possible for me. Um, I'd still be working at the bank. Wasting away in a fucking suit. Okay? If it weren't for you guys. You guys make this all possible for me, and I'm just so grateful and thankful. Every day, I give my gratitude and I give my thanks to the people that watch me and people that support me because you guys really make this possible for me. And I'm so grateful. And yeah. And I just want to remind you guys, it's the day of the Lord and it's Sunday. And, you know, regardless of where you're at when it comes to your spiritual journey or even when it comes to like religion and faith and stuff, you always want to remember to be faithful, and to pray to to trust and to have faith, right, in the divine and spirit. And I really do think that no matter what line of work that you do, if you it doesn't matter what it is, you could be a fucking janitor for all I care, right? If you are doing it with the awareness of God in your heart and your spirit and awareness of the divine and the awareness of, you know, this love of humanity and this love of life, no matter what you do, you're gonna shine and you're gonna glow, and you're gonna bring the energy of the divine and spirit with you everywhere you go, and you're gonna emanate that, and you're gonna glow, and you're gonna inspire and motivate people, and you're gonna change people's lives, and you're gonna just be that beacon of positivity and hope and healing and joy, right? That we need that right now. We need joyous, loving, kind people in the world. We need people that are faithful. We need people that have a good head on their shoulders, but more importantly, they have a good heart in their chest. We need people that are moral right now. We need people that are ethical. We need people that have strong conviction around this is fucking wrong. This is disgusting. This is corruption. This is ick. We need this right now. People that have strong discernment around this is fucking right and this is wrong. Period. Punto. Black and white. No gray area. Okay? Like, we need that right now. People that have moral fortitude and that have righteousness in their heart. Okay? Because we are living in a society that is gross, corrupt, devoid of spirit, devoid of God, no morals, no ethics. Okay? There's a reason why Jesus preached. There's a reason why the Bible is the most popular book in the world. Okay? Because there's some truth to it. There's some truth to it. And when you let human beings, when you leave them to their own devices, you know what happens? This weird kind of bullshit happens. This weird Trump Epstein kind of shit happens. This weird fucking corruption of the government shit happens. This is why it's up to the people to hold these people accountable. We're the ones that put them there. We're the ones that give them power. We give those people power. We give them they made their money off of us. They have that lifestyle that they have because of us. Because they've taken from us. Right? Because they're taking advantage of us. Right? We're the ones that allow them to have that lifestyle. And guess what? We gave them that lifestyle and we could take it away just as quickly. Don't forget that. Because the age of Aquarius, this Aquarius energy that we're stepping into, is going to be about the people reclaiming their power. The people reclaiming their power. Right? And let me tell you, those motherfuckers, they don't want to let it go. They're not going to want to let it go. I'm going to tell you this right now. They're going to fight tooth and nail. They're going to manipulate. They're going to destroy. They're going to bring disease. They're going to do everything that they can. They're going to corrupt. They're going to lie. They're going to cheat. They're going to steal. They're going to use every fucking tool that they have available to them to hold on to their power. They're going to do everything they can to hold on to their wealth, to hold on to their power, to hold on to their position. If they don't because they don't have humanity in their heart. They don't have the love of God in their heart. They don't have spirit. They don't have morals. They don't have ethics. They don't have righteousness in their heart. Right? You got to understand that. These people don't speak our language. They don't understand us. They don't see us. Okay? They're corrupt. Their money, their wealth, their power has corrupted them. And the corruption has gotten deep into their soul to the point where they're abusing children. They're they're sexualizing children. They're molesting children. They're eating children. That's how dark and deep the corruption has gotten into their spirit, into their soul. That's how ugly it is. That's how that's how dark it is, my loves. Yes. That's how dark it is. Okay? And no, there's those of us, like myself included, who have been sent here in this timeline to bring back truth, to bring back virtue, to bring back righteousness and good, and to bring back the voice of God, and to be the voice of God in spirit. Right? Yeah, straight up demonic. Yes, demonic. Insane, gross, demonic, yes. And we are here. There's a reason why those of us, like myself, us spiritual beings, us intuitive beings, us with deep feeling and deep compassion and deep spiritual gifts, there's a reason why we came here in this timeline. Because we are here to expose and reveal that shit, to call it out, to hold it accountable, and to be rid of it. We're the ones that are here to clear that shit out and to expose it for what it is and call it what it is and illuminate it and then hopefully bring some healing and bring some clarity and to free humanity from this nasty ass bullshit, this toxic ass, disgusting, filthy ick that has corrupted society. And now it's preying on our children, the most vulnerable, the most precious, right? Hold on. I got to end with the scripture. Hold on. Jesus blesses the children. Mark 10, 13 to 16. One day, some parents brought their children to Jesus so he could touch and bless them. But the disciples scolded the parents for bothering him. When Jesus saw what was happening, he was angry with his disciples. And he said to them, "Let the children come to me. Don't stop them, for the kingdom of God belongs to those who are like these children. I tell you the truth. Anyone who doesn't receive the kingdom of God like a child will never enter it." Then he took the children in his arms and placed his hands on their heads and he blessed them. There are many scriptures throughout the New Testament of Jesus protecting children, standing up for children, and threatening those that hurt children. He says it. There's a scripture where he says, if any of you hurt or corrupt a child, be damned with you. He says something about tying stones to your feet and letting you sink to the bottom of a lake or the bottom of the ocean or some shit. There's a scripture that says that because children are God's most innocent of creations. They're vulnerable, they're tender, they need our protection, they're pure, right? They're pure. And they are the embodiment, it's symbolically of life. They embody life, they embody purity, right? And therefore they need our protection. These are the ones that we need to protect the most. And Jesus says this. He says this in scripture, right? So, of course, what is the first thing that evil demonic energy is going to come for? What's their first target, right? Their primary target. The things that embody life and purity and joy. Children, babies. Children, babies. That's their target. Because that's what the devil, that's what evilness, that's what corruption, that's what a spiritually corrupt heart and soul does, abusing children. But you see, it's not just with children, though. It's with those people or the living things in our life that need protection because they're vulnerable. It could be an elderly parent. It could be a pet. It could be someone that's disabled. It could be a child or baby, like we said, right? These are all tests. When you have a pet, when you are working with the disabled or the elderly, when you're just working with the sick, right? God is watching, Spirit is watching how you treat these things that you have power over. And when you, right, when people, I'm going to say, not going to say we, I'm going to say people, when people have a corrupted spirit and a corrupted heart, you know what they're going to do? Any power that they're given, no matter where it shows up in their life, they're going to abuse it. They're going to abuse it. Whether it be a parent abusing a child, whether it be a pet owner abusing a pet, whether it be a boss abusing a employee or someone that's beneath them, whether it be a fucking weird stranger being a pedophile and abusing children, it's all the same. It's all about the abuse of power and the corruption of power. That's what it's all about. It's all a reflection of the same corruption of spirit and corruption of heart. There's no love, there's no compassion, there's no empathy. We're disconnected from our heart, from this inner parent, this that we all have within us. We all come from parents. We've all been we right? Many of us want to be parents. We've all been a child. What is the role of a parent? What is the role of a caretaker? To support, to nurture, to protect, to preserve, right? And we've lost that. We've lost that. You fucking toxic parents. Look at all the toxic parents nowadays. Look at all these horrible, atrocious things parents are doing to the kids. Look at all the horrible things people are doing to their pets. Look at all the horrible things that are happening to the elderly and the sickly. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And it needs to be healed. It needs to be worked on. We got to work on it as a collective, as a community, but we got to work on it within ourselves first. It has to start from within. You know, you got to work on it for yourself first. You got to be the best parent that you could be. You got to be the best pet owner that you can be. You got to be the best coworker that you can be. You got to be the best boss that you can be. You got to be the best sister, the best mother, the best brother that you can be. Because that's where the healing happens and that's where the evolution occurs, and it really starts with each individual, right? And then it grows outward from there, right? But we really need to take a look at how we all need to be doing better relationship wise to others. We need it on a society level, on a community level. We need it interpersonally in our own individual relationships within our family dynamics. We all just need to be better humans to each other, and we need to get back to morals and virtue and ethics and righteousness and what is right and what is wrong, and we need to get very clear around what is right and what is wrong, and you need to do that for yourself as well, because we're entering a timeline where the lines between what is right and what is wrong and what is good and what is bad is getting very, very murky. It's getting very blurry, and we're having a lot of good parading as we're having a lot of quote unquote good that's actually evil, that's actually corrupt, and we're seeing the good or the bad pretending to be good. you know we're seeing the bad trying to pretend to be good, trying to pretend to be righteous. Mimicry, right? Mimicry is what we're seeing. um in a very and we're seeing it on the religious level, we're seeing it on the spiritual religious level right now, right? A lot of these fucking terrible, Deepak Chopra was found in the Epstein files, right? I was just reading a story last night about a pastor who is abusing his stepchild, sexually abusing his stepchild. And it's coming from, it's crazy because it's them. It's nuts that the most of the abuse and the neglect is coming from people that are churchgoers, that claim to be people of faith. How guilty must those people's spirits be, right? How much shame and guilt they must have in their heart around who they are, around what they do, that they have to feign and pretend to be people of God and people of devotion and people of righteousness. That's how ugly it is. That's how ugly it's getting out here, y'all. It's disgusting. It's gross, right? It's gross. It's gross. It's gross. It's gross, you know? And we got to hold these people accountable, my loves. We got to be the ones. No one else is going to do it, apparently. It looks like it, you know? So, I don't know. But yeah, Louis for president 2030. I'm getting my slogan together right now. Okay. I don't know. I might be the one. It might be me, you know? Spirit may be like, Louis, you know what? I need you for greater things. And yeah, I know you didn't want to be a politician in this life. I know you gave that up in your 20s, but I might need you for that. Okay. But all right, my loves. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here again. I'm not gonna go ahead and talk your ear off anymore. And yeah. Happy solar eclipse in Aquarius. Make the best of it. Okay, it is eclipse energy. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the weekend Astro. And if you want to rewatch this, you can go ahead and watch it on YouTube in a couple hours. Okay. And also, if you want to book a reading with me, you go on my link tree. All the services that are offered are there. If you have any questions, you want to know about my process and what a reading looks like with me, feel free to just DM me or email me. Okay. And I'm an open book, and I will respond to you and everything. All right. All right. I'll see you guys. Love you guys. Louis for president. You guys are so funny. Okay, bye.